Hello there, it's Steve-O here from the Elite FPL podcast, and yep, it's that time of the evening again where we are going to be doing the old live call chat with Steve-O. Now obviously last night Jason did his yesterday and it was absolutely superb, and it really, these solo podcasts really do enthuse me. I was listening to Planet FPL's podcast earlier on, their second episode of season 3 for their podcast, and it was absolutely brilliant, going through basically all the latest transfers that have happened so far this pre-season basically. And then they start talking about first drafts and second drafts and everything, and you're just listening, you're just like, I love this, I just love talking fantasy football. I know you guys love talking fantasy football as well, and again, it's the classic thing of I'm bored and I just fancy chatting fantasy football. And yesterday when I was listening into Jason's podcast, actually, when he had Vince Chapman on, well, sorry, he didn't have Vince Chapman on, he had Keyboy on, someone from Jason from Cyprus, I believe it was, and Daily Llama joined predominantly, and it was an hour long, and I was like, when it ended, I was like, oh, what? Is that it? This is just from my point of view. I think live stream formats are just absolutely superb. I think because you get to interact with everybody live, I think is absolutely amazing. And you can't go wrong, really. You just chat fantasy football, you just enjoy it, and you just get on with it, really. And I thought Killboy had some really good ideas about basically Leicester. And I know for a fact that when I had Kevin Hunt on, I'm sure it was Kevin Hunt that came on with me the other day briefly until he was cut off. The ideas that some of you guys bring to the table, I'm just like, oh yeah, good thinking. I never really thought about that. And it really does bring in just new ideas for my own thought process. And I keep banging on about this, but like, my team is predominantly just staying with the same, and there's always this one recurring theme, and it all happened last night, what Jason was talking about with you guys, which was going with your gut. And yeah, we get it, going with your gut and stuff. And one of the few things that I've been banging on about is that during my research, during the old podcast last year, there were so many times I regretted not going with my gut, and the biggest one so far that I've heard on the particular old podcasts is when I suggested to the audience, I said to myself that you've got to captain Sterling versus Bournemouth because his attack and returns versus Bournemouth is absolutely sublime. Do it and you will not regret it. Did I do it? Nah. I went with the safety option in Aguero because that's the thing. I had 2 players in my team where both were really good, but it creates a captaincy headache, i.e., like having Aguero and Sterling from the same team. You don't know which to pick, so what do? You go with the safety option, which everybody else is doing, or most people are doing, voting in polls and stuff. So for me this season, I'm trying to avoid captaincy headaches. I'm trying to go with my gut. I'm sick to death of that line, to be honest with you, going with your gut, but it's just such a it's just a terminology which is so true, basically. But Jason, before I went live on air, he's actually helping me with stuff with my laptop and everything. He showed me a new thing which could help it won't help the stream per se, but I'm hoping this pop-up chat works. Good God, there's a lot of you in there chatting. And all I can say is good afternoon to everybody here for this random live impromptu solo Steve-O podcast. But welcome everybody. I'll give you a name check. FPL Boone, hello. By the way, what was I going to say? Jason was informing me that you guys were all using the voice hangouts earlier today. There was like 5 or 6 of you in there about 15 minutes ago. And then the second I said that I was going to go live, basically you lot all disappeared. So yeah, I wasn't involved in any of that chat, but Jason said it was really interesting to listen to. Well, I just thought, well, let's just do a live stream. This is what you guys want. This is you guys are the hardcore elite FPL audience. Oh, by the way, I've changed the thumbnail. I did that. Jason didn't do it. Admittedly, all I've done is I've just stolen some things that Jason put together, but what I really, really want to do, and I'm going to keep this a bit private, but there's a logo that I thought of in my head, and I've mentioned it to Dan privately. I'm going to ask Jason cheekily if he could potentially come up with this specific logo for me, because Jack Gleeson made this point yesterday that this is better than Talk Sport. So basically yesterday morning at about 10:15 in the morning UK time, I did an impromptu. So all these solo podcasts that I do are just completely impromptu. Usually it's because I'm basically bored out my mind. I just want to pass a couple of hours. So I think, do you know what? May as well talk fantasy football. And I know all you guys will join in. I know that the podcast will go really, really well. It will all be fun. And yeah, Jack Gleeson made a point about the fact that this is better than Talk Sport. And I'm a big fan of one particular show on Talk Sport anyway. Hawksby and Jacobs. It's the greatest show ever. And when Jack Gleeson made the point about it being like Talk Sport, I'm thinking of getting Jason to come up with a logo which is basically Talk Sport's logo, but basically Talk Stevo. Now I don't know what copyright infringements that will have, but I'm sure Jason's graphic design wonders could do something with that. So Jason, if you're listening live, and I think you could be listening live, there's your next project, Talk Stevo, by using the Talk Sport logo. So FPL Boone is in chat. Jason Costa, talking to Costa, will he be joining Wolves or Everton? It was interesting. I was listening to the Planet FPL podcast earlier, and they think that Costa's going to come in really, really expensive. I don't know. I think that I can't, because he'd be playing, whoever he plays for, whether it's Wolves or Everton, I can't see him being any more than 9.5, and that will put people straight off. I think somewhere in the region of between 8.5 and 9.5 for Diego Costa if he was to join one of Wolves or Everton. Is he an option? Is he an option for that 4-5-1 formation, which Vince Chapman and I'm sure it was Jason from Cyprus last night that did a 4-5-1 formation. I'm sure it was. Either way, this 4-5-1 formation is picking up a bit of pace. And I keep hearing this point about striker and who to have up front. And it's like, well, you need to cover all bases really with the midfield and defence. And once they've covered all the bases, you don't need to worry about the striker up top. But that's true, but you want to have in every position, even if you've only got one striker, you want to be having that striker to be consistently getting your returns. Do you really want to be relying on someone like King or Jota or Calvert-Lewin to be giving you regular returns? That's my point about having a premium striker, i.e. Kane, Aubameyang, possibly Lacazette, Vardy. Vardy is somebody that a lot of you guys are talking about and banging on about, and I'm like, am I missing something here? But there's something about him which you guys clearly like, but I just don't like their fixtures, so I'm not really fussed about going with Jamie Vardy personally. But I just think that if you're going to go a 4-5-1, you need a striker which is within reason going to be returning you attacking returns every week, whether it's a goal or an assist, one of the two. That's just my opinion, because you're not relying on 2 or 3 strikers to deliver. And let's be honest here, every single week, if you're playing a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 or whatever, more than one striker, only one of your strikers usually delivers for definite, and you may be lucky if you get 2, but getting all 3 strikers scoring, very, very rare. That's based on my personal experience. But certainly I think that having one striker up top, you're going to be wanting somebody that's delivering you on a consistent basis. And off the top of my head, let's be honest here, it's going to be either Kane, Aubameyang or Aguero. So I may do a live draft and actually go with a 4-5-1 formation, and let's see what I can come up with. Or even something that was mentioned on Planet FPL, which was maybe going with a 5-2-3 formation. I think that sounds nuts, but anyway, on to you guys in chat. Resi Dezel, good afternoon. Or Resi Desi, more to the point, good afternoon. Rad Robbie, don't recognise the name. Welcome to the stream. Hello there. Kieran H. Kieran, is that... Because I heard that that's your name. So Keyboy, I heard your name was Kieran. I'm sure that's right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If that's Kieran H, welcome. Joel Street, good afternoon. Daily Llama, of course, there. Welcome. Shane McGuinness, FPL Manager. Welcome to this impromptu stream. Make it special. Get involved. I'm hopefully going to get some people in regarding the live voice chat. I love that new dynamic. I did speak to Jason just before we went off, and basically Jason was saying, well, I was mentioning the point that this live chat, when it comes to live reaction on a Saturday afternoon or whatever game week we react to live, is going to be amazing. It's going to be, it's like Jack Gleason said, it's going to be like 5 Live and Talk Sport, and you guys can actually just rant about what's happened with your team. There was something that Kieran said, aka Keyboy, last night. I can't remember what happened, but basically he said something about a decision about Lukaku and a penalty, and how the penalty shouldn't have been given, or the assist shouldn't have been given. Either way, the point being is that he's just said that he just couldn't speak to his mini league rivals for like a couple of days because he was just so angry. And just hearing that, I was literally at work just laughing. I actually laughed aloud, and a colleague of mine was just basically, "Sorry, what are you laughing at?" And I just simply said, "I'm listening to my own podcast." Well, Jason's podcast specifically last night. But interestingly, answering, again, I apologise, it was either Kieran or Kevin Hunt. I really can't remember. But they mentioned in Discord yesterday that they could have sworn that this, when they saw a recent stream, it was with 4 of us, and specifically that was the one with FPL Boone. But yeah, for anybody new that's watching specifically directly now, and I'm aware that 99.9% of you watching this are hardcore Elite FPL members, so I don't need to explain, but for anybody watching on the replay or live now that's never watched this before, it is usually 3 of us. So it's usually myself, Dan and Jason that do a podcast. But this pre-season, what we're doing is that we're wanting to try and correct all the mishaps, the potential technical problems that we may incur next season regarding this Discord live chat. So we want to air out all the issues now, and then once we get it all sorted, when we kick off with the official shows, then we'll be able to actually just run everything smoothly. Like last night, like obviously Jason is the tech guy. Jason knows everything, and it's amazing just watching him, doing what he does. And last night when I was listening to, well, this morning when I was listening to the show, I keep wanting to call it Elite FPL Radio. That's what I keep wanting to call it. But every time I was listening to it last night, this morning, I was like, this is just fantastic. And because Jason knows what he's doing, he's not like me faffing about with a flaming scrolling menu and everything. Everything just ran beautifully, and I really, really enjoyed it. So we want to air out all the problems now. Well, I certainly do anyway with all these pre-season things. But there's just so much to talk about. There's so much that you guys want to discuss regarding all things fantasy football, that we're here to answer your questions, whether it's in the live chat or live on air, speaking with me, reviewing your teams, doing a Rate My Team. I mean, anybody in the Discord that wants to do a Rate My Team, I'll happily bring the screen up, your team on screen, and people be able to look at what your team is. So yeah, it's all fun and games. Like I said, there's all various different ideas and stuff, and I really, really enjoy it. So, like I said, there's a lot of people in chat at the moment, and Alex Summerson, good afternoon. It's a decent time of the evening as well, 6:45. Gutum, good afternoon there. Chaban, good afternoon. Welcome to the live stream. Right, then I'm going to have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, which I'm assuming is going to be, yeah, there is a hell of a lot of people chatting at the moment, and this is absolutely amazing. Rad Robbie thinking that Costa would cost, Diego Costa, would cost about 9 million. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not going to give that individual the time of day. Brett Mollison. Good evening, Brett Mollison. Welcome to the stream there. I'm hoping it's a decent time of the day. So, Steve, is it worth the risk doing a 4-5-1? You have no flexibility with the subs. Yeah, that's my issue with... That's what I was discussing with Vince live on air the other day. So, basically, I think that the 4-5-1 formation is... It's exactly what you said. It causes a headache if your striker doesn't play. If your striker doesn't play, and let's be honest here, if you're choosing someone like Callum Wilson, Jota, King, Jimenez, maybe not Jimenez, not so much, Calvert-Lewin maybe, if you're choosing one of those low price strikers, I think that you're kind of risking potential rotation, because these players, they play on a regular basis and they're going to play about 85 to 95%, if not 100% worth of games. But if you go with someone like Harry Kane, especially Aguero, Aubameyang at a push, but certainly Kane, Aguero, Vardy, definitely Vardy. I'm talking about teams that are like going to be pushing for top 6 next season, or top 8 at least. Those teams, they're going to be playing their striker week in, week out. People like I said, Callum Wilson, King, etc., based on last season and bit of a rotation risk, and also sustainable to injury and everything. Admittedly, Kane last season was injured all the time, but I think you are right, Brett. I think that if, for example, you did have a striker in a 4-5-1 and he got injured, you're only playing with 10 players. And as much as Vince Chapman wants to argue about having, for example, Zaha in his team, who's basically a striker anyway, you're still only playing 10 players, in effect, if his one striker went and got injured. So, that's the issue here. Let's just quickly scroll up at the moment. This is mad. Good afternoon, Ishmael. Thank you very much. Yeah. Ian Rose kind of saying what FPL Boone was saying about you won't see me for at least a few days. He said, yeah, true, but I was thinking about this. Oh, Steve-O's going to get a bit serious. I was thinking about this, and I keep banging on about this. I do it for you guys. I think you guys really, really enjoy it. And I'm aware someone's just made a comment about calming down with the streams. I'm not going to name check him, but I don't really care about your opinion. Jason doesn't really care about your opinion. Dan doesn't really care about your opinion. If you don't like it, don't watch. It's quite simple. And you guys that are watching this now, predominantly the Hardcore Elite FPL audience, I'm not trying to exclude people that are casuals or anything. It's got nothing to do with that whatsoever. But these specific solo streams are for you guys, the Hardcore Elite FPL audience that just want to chat FPL. And funny enough, regarding that comment below, it's one of those where that's what I love about the Discord group. The Discord group is one of the friendliest places I've ever witnessed regarding a forum site. I'm not going to name check the specific forum site, which I think has just turned into the most abusive, hate-filled site possible, comment-wise, but I just love the fact that for anybody that posts up a team or posts up a player, that they will get a friendly answer. They're not going to get, I've said this before and I'll say it again, they're not going to get shot down to pieces. I'll never forget on this particular large forum site when somebody actually just posted up the most simplest question, which was something along the lines of, what do you guys think about me captaining Jimenez versus Man United? And this person was absolutely ripped to shreds, and I was just thinking, he's just asked a simple question, and this is exactly what this site's become. It's just been ruined by the amount of people that use it, but whatever. But what I love about the Discord group that we've set up is that it's just so friendly, and it's just amazing to see you guys. And like I said, the best aspect of this is the fact that we get to chat live, and I can't wait to get if anybody does want to come on live, All you've got to do is go into the Hangout section. Just if you are in Discord and you want to come on live to the show and just talk to me or talk about your fantasy team, talk whatever regarding all things fantasy football, then I'll come on there in a minute and we'll carry on. But FPL Fozzy, hello there. Is your name Fozzy based on Chris Jericho's band, or is it just based on a nickname or something? I just saw someone there. Daily Paul, good afternoon there. All right, Steve-O, you love it, mate. What are you going to be like when the season starts? I mean, again, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I'm not only do I do this for your benefit, but, you know, I'm just a bit bored. And what else am I going to do other than watching other videos about fantasy football? I just think, why not just do my own video? Like I said, me, Jason and Dan absolutely we really enjoy it. So, you know, like me, Dan and Jason, right? Some people out there maybe think, oh, we're doing another serious subject here. Some people out there may be thinking, oh God, is this some kind of like way in which Steve-O's kind of disbanding from the other two? Or is this a way in which Jason's going to disband? No, you couldn't be further from the truth. Me and Jason and Dan, privately, on our WhatsApp group, support each other so much. In fact, I encourage them to do more content because I absolutely love watching it. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. And the three of us bring something different and unique. Like, for me personally, what I liked about Jason's stream last night, and Jason won't know this, I haven't actually told him this, but so Jason, if you're listening, here's a massive compliment. What I loved about it is he's so free flowing with the conversation. He's really, really confident when he's speaking to you guys, and he asks the right questions. I'm fully aware of my flaws. I'm fully aware of my pros. I'm fully aware of my cons, and I'm fully aware of my pros. Okay, Jason's fully aware of his, Dan's fully aware of his. We've all got different things to bring to the table, and that's what makes our usual streams really, really good, because the three of us just all connect in one, and we just become this superhuman one big podcast. But the point being is that Jason, the way he chats on air and everything, I absolutely love it. I think it's just, he comes across really, really professional, and the chat just becomes so free-flowing, and I think it's just absolutely fantastic listening to what he was saying. And that's why, like, I keep banging on about this with the live streams and everything, because there's just so many people here that are willing to chat fantasy football, and people are just willing to get advice or show their support by watching and tuning in everything. I'm happy to just be here and just listen in and stuff. So I wonder if there is anybody in the, just to close down the chat bit a second, I wonder if there's anybody in Discord that does want to come on air. And the simple answer is 9. Is there anybody in the waiting room? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, FPL Boone is in the waiting room. FPL Boone, I'm assuming you're wanting to come on live on air. If you want to come on live, let me know in the Discord chat on general, and we'll get you on. I have no idea who this NN is. You can be pushed out into the waiting room. Whoops. Sorry, I'm just... You won't have a clue what I'm doing. See, this is my point about Jason and me. Right, FPL Boone is willing to come live on air. That's fantastic. We'll get you on in a minute, Boone. That's awesome. Let me get rid of this person here. Right, thank you. Cool, done. Sorry about that. You won't have a clue what I was doing. I was trying to get rid of someone, and like I said, this is when Jason's the tech guy and can automatically do it, whereas me, it takes me flaming half an hour. But so we'll get FPL Boone on. In fact, do you know what? Let's get FPL Boone live on air right now. Why not? So FPL Boone, get ready, get prepared. Make sure that you're not listening to the stream on... this is a tip that I brought up that Jason gave me. Make sure that if anybody that's watching this now that does want to come on air, then please make sure that you're not watching the stream with the sound on. And that's basically it, really. That's all I learned. But let's get Boone live on air, and let's get chatting. Waiting room. Where is it? Here we go. FPL Boone. Sorry about this. FPL Boone. Ah, there we are. FPL Boone, are you there? Hopefully there's not a delay like yesterday. Yes, sir. Are you there, Boone? Good afternoon. Is there any delay?
There isn't, because I've gone off YouTube.
Oh, fantastic. So for anybody that didn't watch yesterday's solo stream, Boone came on, and basically there was like a... when I was listening to it back, it seemed like a half an hour delay, but no, everything's back to normal. How's everything going, Boone? All okay? All good?
Yeah, it's alright, mate. I've not listened back to that stream for that very reason. I don't think I want to.
It was absolutely hilarious, because I was just listening to this. In fact, I'm going to name check Nick Reed again. So if anybody, I'm assuming everybody knows who FPL Partridge is on Twitter, but if you don't, check him out. It's at FPL Partridge. But anyway, he does a lot of tweets about basically comparing FPL to The Office or Alan Partridge or Extras or whatever, anything to do with Ricky Gervais. I'm aware that it's Steve Coogan Partridge, but whatever, you get the point. Predominantly, it's all Office jokes. And my friend Nick Reed compared to your moment yesterday. I don't know if you're a fan of The Office or not, but there's a moment in The Office where David Brent is getting his picture taken in his office. And the woman that is played by a very famous actress now who was in Peep Show, I'm sure somebody in chat screaming, I forget what else she's in. But anyway, she's in Peep Show and stuff, but this is before she was anything, and she's the photographer, and she's taken a picture, and basically it's just this awkward silence, and David Brent's just like, yeah, just waiting for the, yeah, I get it. It was just exactly the same with what happened with Boone. Anyway, Boone, what do you want to talk about, mate?
Yes. Well, I mean, I wanted to get your opinion on some changes. I've gone ahead with the triple Bournemouth attack, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts were.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
If you wanted to bring my team up, I've actually put it in the RMT.
Right, okay, so let me just scroll through this. Right, so there's Discord. Let's bring up in the Rate My Team section. Oh, wow, there's a lot of people in the Discord. Right, brilliant. This is interesting. So in the Rate My Team... Whereabouts is it? Right at the bottom, mate?
I've just put it in about 10 minutes ago, so it should be towards the bottom. Unless, others have also done so.
Oh, blimey, yeah, there's a lot. It just takes a while to look. There we are. Brilliant. Okay, hopefully that should be up on screen for everybody right now. Yes, it is. Cool, okay. So you've gone with triple... Now, funny enough, Block FPL's in live chat at the moment, so we'll get him... Block FPL, if you're willing to come live on air, we'll get you live on air, but... He was thinking of going with triple Bournemouth attack. And interestingly, when I heard you mention this on Discord, my instant reaction was, but it's Bournemouth. You're heavily relying on a team which, yeah, they score a lot of goals, but they're what are they, like a mid-table teamish? Mm-hmm. And you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket for a team that are between 10th and 14th, 15th, and you're happy with that, are you?
Absolutely. So this is my kind of thought process, and what I'll tell you it, and then you tell me what you think. So my thinking is if I were to go triple Bournemouth, my only worry is the City game in game week 3. What the hell am I going to do then? But the way I've rationalised it in my head is if I hold 2 transfers through game week 2, I've then managed to have that triple Bournemouth for 2 of the most probably favourable fixtures in the season in Sheffield United and Villa. And then I could use the 2 free transfers to bin 2 of those off. Now, in game week 4, Bournemouth have Leicester away, which again I don't feel is the easiest fixture. So I'd be happy to, go ahead with just one Bournemouth asset in that game. So that's kind of my thinking at the moment. I want to maximise Bournemouth in the first two fixtures.
Yeah, I fully understand the reasoning behind that. It's also the fact you've gone with a 3-5-2. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
You've gone with one playing player in Dunk who's guaranteed to start. Gibson, I can't, unless Tarkowski is sold, he won't be playing. So
Yeah.
you're happy with the rest of your team and Alexander-Arnold, Zinchenko, Taylor, Maddison. Why Maddison? Just considering their fixtures are just not that great.
Let me just have a look at his fixtures. I actually don't think his fixtures are too bad. So he's got Wolves at home to start with. Then they've got Chelsea away, where Leicester more recently have done notoriously well.
Apart from
that up,
apart from when they drew 0-0 at the end of the last season when I had Vardy captain. But apart from that, yeah, you're. I'm not bitter.
Apart from that. I think Vardy's got a chance of doing well. And I think Maddison's going to be the one to feed him. That's my thinking. At the moment, I can't really afford Vardy in my team, so I feel like I'd rather have Maddison in there at the moment.
Why not? I'm hearing a lot of people mentioning Maddison, but not Tielemans. That's 0.5 cheaper, which mean that if you brought in Tielemans, you could upgrade Zinchenko to Walker. What are your thoughts on Tielemans?
I don't know. I think the sample size that we've got on Tielemans is too small. I know I said it the other day as well that he played a few games and he massively outdid his expected XG. So I don't think we've seen enough of him to know that he's going to be able to replicate that again. If we do, then it'll be an easy swap over from either of my midfielders: Richarlison, Maddison, Fraser, whoever. Even Fraser could be it could be. I wouldn't mind doubling up on the Leicester mid. I tell you what, though, just before we came onto this call, I also had Harvey Barnes in my team, and he's a player that I had towards the end of last season. And I know you've got your gripe with him, but his output last year, which I know doesn't count for much in FPL if he's not converting it, was massive. And like I said the other day again, if he can improve that even slightly, he could be a really good asset. And I think he's been massively overlooked, firstly. Secondly, he's going to be a massive differential. So who really knows? Brendan Rodgers likes his youth.
I'm not going to proclaim to be a Leicester expert, but what I do want to say is that is Harvey Barnes a guaranteed starter if seen as Perez has been brought into the team? Because what we're thinking here, we're thinking what? Maddison, Tielemans, Perez, Vardy. There's your top four. Who else is for Leicester? Ndidi? Am I going mad here? I mean, I'm not.
I'm thinking Tielemans will play slightly more back, and I think he did so last season too. But he was able to get forward, which obviously is the kind of appealing bit there. I feel like Maddison will play behind Vardy, and I think the competition will be on the right-hand side between Gray and Perez.
And there's also
with Barnes
Albrighton
on the
as
left.
well.
Yeah, I don't think Albrighton will get much of a say this season. I think he'll be more of an off-the-bench man, but we don't know. It remains to be seen, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what we'll do. Hopefully this will work. It should work. I can't see why it won't. Brilliant. I will bring up Block FPL. If Block FPL's still there, hopefully he should be there. And we will get him in the chat because he is somebody that on his podcast with Jason, he actually said that he's thinking of having three players as well. Let's get Block into the... It's really annoying because the menu thing that I'm scrolling up is so small. It's very, very difficult to drag anything down. It's driving me up the wall, but hopefully Block can join us live. Hello, Block. Are you there, mate? Hello, Block. Are you there? Oh, he's gone back.
Block's currently muted on his end.
Oh, Block, are you able to unmute your microphone, mate? Because it'd be really good to hear your feedback on FPL Booner's triple Bournemouth. Oh, there he is. Oh, yep, I can hear something. Oh, he's gone back out again. So for everybody watching in chat, Block's just coming back and forth. We'll leave Block for a second there. So Booner, can I ask you a question in the sense of how often are you actually looking over your team? Are you doing this on a daily basis? Are you swapping and changing on a daily basis? And I mean, the more things you're watching, I'm assuming it gives you more different ideas to be swapping and changing, or...
Yeah, absolutely. I'm changing my team at least 2 to 3 times a day at the moment, to be honest. But it's all part of the game, isn't it? Really, we're hearing different inputs from different FPL managers, and a lot of it makes sense. So, I mean, what's going to happen is we're all going to end up going back to our first draft, aren't we?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, like I said, if we bring up my team for a second on the screen here, this isn't my team at all. It's just what I will say is that I think Salah, Sterling are absolute definites for everybody's team, no matter what. I think that to go without them, I mean, I don't know, but what are your thoughts on though for definite having them two as your foundation? Salah and Sterling, yeah.
They're 2 essential players for me in the game, and I will use the word essential. I think them 2 are essential, and at least 1 Liverpool defender. Outside of that, feel free to make your own choices. But I feel like if you are to start the season strong and not be left behind, try not to be too clever and go with those 3. Is my thought process.
Block, are you there? I know you're in the live bit. Can you hear us, Block? Can you
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic! So Block FPL, everybody, joins us live. What are your thoughts on FPL Booner's team then regarding triple up on Bournemouth attack with Fraser, Wilson, and King?
Well, I think it's interesting because personally, right now I have King and Wilson as well, and I'm tempted because right now, like I posted my team in the chat as well. I have De La Feu at 6.5, and I'm tempted to get rid of him and put in Brooks, and also have a triple up in Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, are you not worried the fact that you're relying heavily on a team which I think is going to be ending up between 10th and 14th, and there's a high risk of not getting returns because of that basis, really? I mean, it's not really the greatest argument on the planet not to have 3 of them, but I've got nothing against the 3 per se. It's just you're putting so many eggs into one basket. Have you actually thought about maybe doing what Boone is thinking of doing and transferring out Wilson and King, or whatever combination you want for the game versus Man City with 2 free transfers?
I've thought about it, but at this time, I don't know. I'll probably just find a way to rotate King onto the bench. And even though I'm not confident in Wilson, he'll probably just have in my team because my bench won't be the strongest at the time. But who knows? I'm not really playing that far ahead with transfers. Hopefully, the points they get in the first 2 games can sort of make up for it. I get what you're saying as far as relying on Bournemouth is sort of sketchy because their quality isn't that great. But when you look at their expected goals and their expected assists, it looks pretty good, especially those matchups. The only reason I wouldn't be getting Brooks over Fraser is either because I want a Bournemouth defender. I mean, Brooks over De La Feu is because I either want a Bournemouth defender as my third, or just because I'd be scared. And I typically don't like to say, oh, I'm going to put a threshold on the amount of risk I can take on one team. Like, I'm not going to try to limit the amount of risks I can take just because I arbitrarily feel, oh, that's too risky. Well, if I think one player is going to do better than the other, then I'm going to choose Fraser over, or 3 Bournemouth or 3 of whatever team. I'm not really, I don't try to limit my risks. I just try to do what's best, even if it's super risky or super conservative.
So I've brought up.
I like that.
I've brought your team up on Twitter, Block, and I'm assuming it's the same as what you've put up in the Discord, which is the 5-2-3 formation. Is that right?
Yes.
So for anybody that's listening on audio, basically Block's gone with a 5-2, as it stands, a 5-2-3 formation, and he's gone with Edison, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Digne, Laporte, Adam Smith, Salah, Sterling, De La Feu, Wilson and King, and then just a bunch of non-starters apart from Dendoncker and possibly Stevens of Bright. In fact, Dendoncker and Stevens are absolute, virtually definite starters. I mean, what's your thinking behind a 5-2-3 formation? It looks really tempting to do. You're not worried about other potential midfielders doing really, really well?
I'm not too worried about it. The main thing that I'm worried about is like if there is a breakout, see there's like a breakout 6.5 mid or so in that price range. I don't have like a straight swap to them, so it would take me a -4 to get there. But I think the players I have are good value, and there's a lacking of midfielders like below 6.5. Like there's Pereira at 6 million, but there's really nobody that I like too much. So I think this sort of I don't really see anybody breaking out. So I think I'm sort of safe. But if somebody like Brooks or some other 6.5 or even like at 8, because I just have 2 primes in the middle, so that is the only problem with this formation, which is why I might go Brooks. But I think it looks good.
There was a thought. Oh, go on, Booner.
Question for Block. Are you not scared? As soon as a game week starts and a goal's conceded within the first 2 minutes, how are you going to be feeling?
Well, I mean, you got a point. Just because, watching the games, it's sort of more stressful to be hoping for a clean sheet. But I also do have some good attacking, with Dean and Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, and Laporte at the end of the season scored a lot of goals. So I don't think it'll be the worst thing ever. But I still think, yes, it gives me more worry. But considering their prices, I mean, Dean is 6 compared to like Sigurdsson, who's 8. So I'm just doing it to save money, really.
There was a point brought up on the Planet FPL podcast, and I just cracked up at this because it's so true. In fact, forget that. I keep confusing Planet FPL with our own podcast. So I'm sure it was Jason. He was talking last night about VAR, and it got me thinking about double Liverpool defence. I'm just wondering on you two if you may be thinking because of VAR, it may actually create less clean sheets due to, Liverpool conceding a late goal due to the fact that someone's tugged on a shirt and Norwich decide to appeal it. They go to VAR and it's been given as a penalty or whatever. I was just thinking, are we all concerned about a double up now with that thought process that Jason...
That could easily happen, mate. That's it. And this is why I'm sticking to a three at back kind of formation. I'd rather just wait and see.
Yeah, this is why I love this format, what we're doing, because we all get to get these ideas out there. I mean, looking at that team block, I mean, on a serious note, you ended up 50th in the world last year. What are your thought processes going into this season? Like, do you look at the overall rank and think, I'm going to try and break the top 25 this year? Like our friend Davey FPL as an example.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, obviously. Do I think it's going to happen? No, not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing the same thing. I'm not really... It's too early. Once overall rank comes out after our first week, then I'll be looking at it. But I'm just trying to maximize points. I think the team looks good. I probably will stick with a similar team to that. I might have Jorginho instead of Adam Smith or something like that. If I am scared of the 5 at the back. Yeah, I don't know about the whole rank thing. It's crazy if I get top 100 again.
It's very, very brave indeed. I mean, can I ask you, from my point of view and Jason and Dan's, just how do you think this live kind of interaction is for this particular podcast?
Oh, I mean, I think it's good. I actually like it. I don't think anybody else in the FPL community is doing it. So, I mean, it's fun. Like today, I wasn't planning on coming in, but I saw you were live streaming, so I'm like, all right, let me join in. And people like Boone, it's great to hear. You can just get a bunch of different perspectives, even when it's not really planned. So, I think it's great. It's like a FPL radio show.
So one final question for you, Block, before we let you go, which is this. What is the chances of that team there, or the formation, staying like that by game week 1?
Well, due to the fact that there's still preseason, there's a lot of stuff to happen. I would say I'd give it like a 30% chance if I had to quantify it. But I think the base of the team. Look, I think Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Dean, Ederson, Salah, Sterling, and 2 Bournemouth attackers will be in the team. That's all I can tell you. But I have one question for you. I want you to predict the order of the elite FPL ranking. So like, who do you think will finish first, second, and third out of y'all 3 this season?
What, out of me, Dan, and Jason? Right. So
Yeah.
I know for fact that every season without fail, I always start really, really badly, like really badly. And then it gets to about mid-season, I start picking up, and then it just kind of like dies off. So Jason, on the other hand, this is a very long-winded way of answering your question. Jason, on the other hand, after last season, I think he's learnt a lot. And I know for fact that 2 seasons ago, he started off like a steam train, and then for whatever reason, he fell off. So it's certainly, no disrespect to Dan, but it's certainly going to be between me and Jason. And right now, as it stands, I'd go with Jason because my history suggests that I'm going to be having a bad season. So, yeah. I mean, I'll reverse the question. Are you part of the, just of interest, are you part of the Cash Mini League? Are you going to be participating in that?
Yes.
Oh, you are going to be. Have you actually signed up, have you?
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, here's a question for you. With such high quality of players within that group, do you think you've got a chance of coming in the top 3?
Well, of course I have a chance. I'd say I have a decent chance. I don't know. If I had to compare myself to the elite FPL, I said I'd probably beat at least 2 out of 3 of y'all.
What do you think on this Cash Mini League, Booner, and the quality of player that are getting involved, and obviously Block ending up 50th and confident that he could be ending up in the top 3?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm winning it, so I don't really know about the others. I don't take part if I'm not going to win, so it's just how it is. You guys are just going to have to adjust to it. I'm joking, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be ultra competitive, though.
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
I'm really worried for it because I'll be getting so angry. I just know there's gonna be a lot of Steve-O rants on on the show because it's like you, Booner. I take this so seriously that, especially when you're in a mini league that you actually do take seriously, we're going to be focusing all our attention on the Elite FPL Cash Mini League when we come to doing our reviews and everything, and it really is going to add a brand new dynamic to the show, I think, and it's going to get a lot of people involved because obviously there's money at stake here.
Absolutely. Block, with you finishing so highly last season, what's your personal aspirations for this season?
In general, like top 10K, like anything outside that, I'd consider that a failure. If it's in the top 10K, I'll be like, all right, that's okay. Obviously, the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal. I was
expecting you to say top 100.
Well, yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal is to get the top 100 again. I think that would be great. And I can clickbait some more stuff. 50th in the world. Sorry,
it worked for one of our friends for definite, but no. But in all seriousness, I think it's absolutely amazing that you're part of this community, Block. I think that I just think that it's absolutely awesome that you. I know there's a lot of people that are joining us internationally from all around the world that participate, but I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything you want to say to people on YouTube now, basically, while we're live?
No, I just want to say consider Bournemouth attackers. Just first 2, I think they'll do good, and that's what the stats are saying. And I had a lot of Bournemouth players last year. I'm actually tempted to make my my supporter team on FPL. I'm tempted to make it Bournemouth, even though I don't actually support them, but apparently I do because of how often I get their players.
Well, there we have it, everybody. The tip from Block FPL that ended 50th last season is suggesting that you go with triple Bournemouth attack, just like Booner.
At least
Absolutely
one.
spot on.
Block, you're an absolute star, mate. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, dude. Speak soon.
All right.
There we have it, everybody. Block FPL just there, coming live on air. If you want to join FPL Boone, are you happy to stay around? Have you as a guest host?
Let's give some others a chance to voice their opinions. I'm actually just going to pop out to eat food for 5 or 10 minutes,
Okay.
and then if you're still on, and you'll have me back on, then great. If that's okay.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. No worries at all. I'll speak to you in a bit, mate.
Perfect. See you in a bit. Bye.
There we are. There's FPL Boone and there's him. So we've got Andy 9098 in live at the moment. If you wanna, I'll bring you up live on air. Please do not swear. Hello, Andy 1998. How are you? Hello, Andy. Are you there? A 5, a 4.
Hello?
Andy, hello there. Welcome to
All right.
the Elite FPL Steve-O Solo podcast. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad.
What do you want to tell the audience? What do you want to have to talk about?
Well, I put my team in the rate my team.
Okay, not a problem at all. Is that recent?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it,
I
shall
can
we?
pop.
Oh, idiot! I'm looking at the wrong. I'm already on the screen. Here we are. Right then, let's just quickly. I just need to quickly bring it up on the screen for everybody. So Andy 90. It's a very confusing name, Andy. You've got there. Where are you joining us from, Andy? Hello, Andy. Oh, please don't tell me you've gone, Andy. Hello, Andy. Are you there? It seems that Andy's... I seem to jinx every... No. Oh, no. He's somehow left the live bit. Andy, are you there? There we are. You're back.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. You left the live bit for a second. So we'll bring up your
okay.
screen. Whereabouts are you calling us from?
Ireland. Dublin.
Oh, from
Yeah.
Well, welcome from Ireland. Nice to... Right, so we're going to bring your team up on screen at the moment. And we'll just quickly go through it. So this is Andy's team, everybody. Oh, you're going with... So it's Nick Pope in goal. Alexander Arnold, Coleman, Van Dijk. So you're going with a 3-4-3. That's an unusual formation. Who's that there? Who's the... Do you want to... I can't quite read it out because it's such small... So who's the rest of the midfield? I can't quite work that out.
It's Fleck, Sterling, Salah, and
Fleck, of course.
Yeah.
So Fleck of Sheffield United.
Yeah, I'm concerned having two Sheffield United players, but
Well, you're
I
going
don't
with
really have
Billy
any other
Sharp.
options.
Wow. So let's just
Yeah.
let's quickly go over this. So you're going with you're relying on Liverpool defence then. You're confident next year then.
Yeah, no, they got 20 last year, so I'm pretty confident. And Van Dijk got really high points for his valuation of 6.5.
You're not worried about
So.
you're not. I'm saying this facetiously. You're not worried about Barcelona potentially taking Van Dijk. There was some talk in the paper today about Barcelona tapping him up, but it's a load of nonsense.
No,
really.
I doubt it.
So why are you why? How come you're backing Sheffield United? It's very, very rare to see any team with Sheffield United, especially a double up in Billy Sharp and Fleck.
Yeah, I kind of chose them over fixtures. Yeah, that was my main reason for picking. I'm happy with Sharp, but I don't know who to replace Fleck with because he's only 5 million. And then you've got like Jorginho and that kind of thing, but I don't know where Jorginho's going to play. So
do you normally how long have you been playing this game for?
Since I was 16, but just with the lads. So I've only taken it seriously probably the last 2 years.
Do you normally favour a 3-4-3? I take it.
Yeah, I prefer 3-4-3.
So what's the reasoning behind not having someone like Aguero, Kane, basically one of the big hitting premium strikers in your team?
Because the average points per game is better with Salah and Sterling than it is with Aguero, Kane, any of those.
So I suppose it stops you from creating a headache for yourself when it comes to captaincy?
Yeah, that as well. But it's mainly about the statistics of Sterling and Salah.
I completely agree with that. I think. Do you agree with me that Sterling and Salah are basically the foundations of what every team should be built on?
Yeah, I think so. Because like if you take Sterling out, it's difficult to find another. Like you could do if you get rid of Sterling and Fleck and replace it with maybe Mora and Sigurdsson. You know, their average points per game is actually lower than if Fleck got 2 points a game. So
based on this very brief conversation we're having at the moment, do you play the game heavily on stats? Do you rely heavily on that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What is there any specific statistics that you rely on the most? For example, expected goals.
I don't really look at expected goals. I kind of just look at their average. I also look at there's a good site called FPL Analytics, and it shows you like their per million.
Huh? I was just gonna ask. So, has this model that you base your game on regarding stats?
Yeah.
Does it work for you?
Well, to be honest, it's going to be the first year I try it out because I've only been taking it seriously 2 years.
Right. Okay. So when you say 2 years, do you mean last year being the first year and this year being the second year?
No, I mean 2 years. But I haven't really used stats before. So
going on you saying you've been taking it seriously. So the 2 years that you have taken it seriously, just of interest, what have been your ranks?
Last year was 188k.
Okay, that's very respectable, yeah.
And then the previous year was 353k. So
straight away there's been an improvement by half the rank straight away to the following season. So maybe this year you could half it again and be something like 90,000th, roughly, if my maths is right.
Yeah, hopefully.
So when
that's what I plan.
When you play the game, are you involved in any cash mini leagues that you take seriously? Any mini leagues? That
I joined your cash mini league.
Jason, is there anybody out there that isn't going off? Oh wow! So you've joined our cash mini league as well?
Yeah, I think it'll help me stay competitive because I kind of lost sort of passion for it midway through the season last year.
In what respect? How did you lose your passion for it, and why did you lose your passion for it?
Well, I was ahead of everyone, so I have local groups that I'm in.
Right. Okay.
And so I was ranked like 10,000 sort of mid-season.
Yeah. Join the club. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just sort of lost interest. So can I ask you? I like to ask members of the community, which I don't mean this in a horrible way, but I don't recognise the name. How did you come across the Elite FPL podcast and the Discord and everything? I just started looking up FPL videos, and then some got recommended to me, and I think one of your videos was recommended to me.
And I'm assuming you're enjoying it. The fact that you're going to be participating in the Cash Mini League.
Yeah, I think the way you have it set up allows for a really good community experience with everyone.
Yeah, do you? I mean, the fact that you're live on air is absolutely fantastic. I mean,
I never do this.
Do you participate a lot in the Discord group?
I'm in and out of the Discord, but I do enjoy the YouTube.
Yeah, we do. I must say, we do pride ourselves on what we do, and I'm fully aware that the live stream format is long. But can I? Sorry to keep bombarding you with questions. I just find it really, really interesting. How do you consume our content? Do you just listen to our? Do you watch it on the TV? Do you watch it on your mobile phone?
I usually watch it on the tablet.
Oh wow!
I have a tablet. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's absolutely brilliant, Andy. So,
Yeah.
regarding the Cash Mini League, I'll ask. I mean, how long have you been actually watching the Elite FPL show? Is it just this season, this pre-season?
Just the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, you're going to be in for a shock because, as Block FPL's just mentioned just now, the competition in our mini league is ridiculous. So we set up just an average normal mini league last year, roughly about November time, and we had about 100. By the end of it, we had 104 people in it, and you had to be in the top 20 just to be in the top 10,000. It was crazy, and that was just a free. So I'm a bit worried that this particular Cash Mini League is going to be very, very competitive. Is that concerning you, or are you just up for the challenge and think, nope, this is going to make me take this game even more serious than ever?
Yeah, I think what you just said, I think I will take it a lot more seriously. Now that I have really good competition.
Yeah. Andy, thank you.
Yes.
Stick around, mate, and hopefully hear from you soon, mate. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Cheers,
See
team.
ya.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
There we are, Andy 9098 there. That was absolutely brilliant. I see FPL Booner's back in thing. We'll get Booner back in the Discord in a minute, but guys, this is just absolutely brilliant. I think that you guys coming on live is just exactly why we do this, to be honest with you. It's absolutely brilliant. What I'll do is I'll quickly go into the chat in a second. I'll quickly what am I doing here? I'll quickly bring up the FPL page and everything, and I'll just quickly go into chat and just see what you guys are talking about, because as you can probably imagine, this is crazy what we're doing. If you're, I am going to plug it. If you're enjoying it, hit the like button. If you're enjoying it and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. All of this content is just coming quick and fast as ever. If you want to show your support and everything, and you're on Twitter, why not tell your friends that we're doing a live stream right now? So get on Twitter, send out to everybody that we're live, and you never know, if they're in the Discord, they could come on live with us. FPL Boone is happy to come back on in a minute, so we'll get FPL Boone on any time now. Hello, Aman Dillon. Welcome to the stream there, everybody. Tahir Mohammed, my top rank is 19,000 and I took it semi-seriously last year for the first time and finished 1.2 million. Yeah, you get a lot of those horror stories of when you actually take the game seriously. It's when and I'll tell you why. I mean, you may be able to correct me if I'm wrong to hear, but I do find that when you take it seriously, you actually consume more content. So I think that the more content you consume, the more it just kind of clouds your own judgment. In fact, you know what? We'll quickly bring in FPL Booner onto the stream. So, hello, Booner, you there? You back with us? No. Whoops. There we are. FPL Booner, are you there? Hello there.
I am indeed, sir.
Fantastic. What are your thoughts on what I've just said just now to Tahir about the fact that the more seriously you take the game, the more content that you consume, whether it's reading statistics or going onto fantasy football sites or watching media like this, that actually it just confuses you and actually blurs your vision about what you really want to be doing. As Tahir just said, his best ever rank was 19,000 when he took it semi-seriously, and now he took it really seriously last year and looked 1.2 million.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree that, it's a bit of a vicious cycle. And, regardless of the fact that we know that it is a vicious cycle, we will continue to do the same until the season starts. So, it's just part of parcel of being an FPL player. Um, and we just need the season to start so we can stop the tinkering and just have this team set in stone, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, Mars Bar, welcome to the stream. Hey guys, I'm new. Unfortunately, I'm a Newcastle fan, and the only incentive I have to watch is the Premier League. And for fantasy football wise, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling for Newcastle next season, but have they officially announced Steve Bruce, Boona?
No, no, no. They've not announced him, and I'm not even sure if it will happen or not.
Oh, why is that?
So, uh, I don't know. I'm thinking about it from a fan's perspective, I guess. That would be an absolutely atrocious signing for Newcastle.
Yeah,
I've not seen anything recently to suggest that it's definitely going ahead either. And Steve Bruce has only recently been in post in Sheffield Wednesday as well. He's not been there long, so it just seems a bit soon. I guess, he's not going to turn down the opportunity to move to a Premiership club, but I don't see it happening. But if it does, he's quite a defensive focused manager, so Newcastle defensive assets could quickly become on our radar. So,
Yeah, I mean, he did okay with Sunderland. He did okay with Wigan. Again, I'm not going to proclaim to be an expert on his history or anything, but I don't know. I just think there's just going to be a really, really bad move for Newcastle personally. I know that reading some comments on Twitter and everything from Newcastle fans, they're not inspired by this whatsoever.
Oh, it's a massive come down from Rafa Benitez. It's. I do feel sorry for Newcastle fans at the moment because going back about 5-6 weeks ago, when the off season started, they had their hopes put up that there was going to be this Arab takeover, and that they would be getting these millions of pounds in, and potentially being linked with Mbappe. Things were looking up and positive, and all of a sudden that doesn't happen. Then Benitez leaves, and now they're being linked with Steve Bruce, relegation expert. So,
Yeah.
it's not looking good right now.
Ray Joyce, thank you for the comment there. Yeah, over the last few weeks, the podcast has come on leap and bounds, and we thank you for your support and everything. It's because of people like you that we do this. Question for you, Boona. Peter Lee asks, what are your thoughts on Wolves and Leicester's starting fixtures? Don't look good at all to me, I agree. Yet people seem to be obsessing over getting in Vardy or Jimenez.
Well, let's have a look. So let me bring my... So, Leicester start with Wolves at home, Chelsea away, Sheffield United away, and Bournemouth at home. Now, the way that I like to play this game is in blocks of fixtures of 3 or 4. So if we look at that first 4 block of fixtures, Wolves at home, Chelsea away, which I think Chelsea is the toughest fixture there, and the only tough fixture in my personal opinion. Sheffield United away and Bournemouth at home. I think Leicester's 4 fixtures there actually ain't too bad. I think if the following fixtures were not Manchester United and Tottenham, I think Leicester's assets would be in a lot more demand. However, yeah, go on.
I was going to say, Jason made a point about his own team, Man United, and he said that is that really a tough fixture, and I agree. I just don't think... In fact, I think next season, I mean, this is a subject matter for a different day, but I think Man United could struggle next year. I mean, you said something about Arsenal finishing outside the top 7, wasn't it? What did you say to Dan the other day? What was it again?
Oh, they're going to get relegated. Okay, no, I'm only joking. All jokes aside, I see them finishing. So this is the order I see. So top 3, I think Liverpool will win it this year. Second or third, contrary to what most people will think, I think it'll be close between City and Spurs. I think Spurs will have a bit more this season with Ndombele. Fourth, I reckon Leicester will nail down that 4th spot.
What?
I really do.
Why do you think this?
Because Brendan Rodgers when he came in the latter end of the season for Leicester, they had a new lease of life. They've got some seriously good young talent there. They've got a strong defense, and if they keep Maguire, then I think there's more chance of that happening. If Maguire goes, then I guess it's slightly up in the air because that does weaken their defence a bit.
Boone,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interject, but we've got a special guest. And he is a special
Go on,
guest. It's Brett Mollison. Brett Mollison, please tell me you are there, all the way from Australia. Brett, are you there? Please be able to connect with us.
G'day, Steve-O. You there, mate?
The man, the legend, Brett Mollison, one of the... He makes FPL Boone look like a casual for the Elite FPL. Brett Mollison is here live on the show. This is a genuine honour. So for anybody that doesn't know Brett Mollison, and I don't know why you wouldn't know him if you've been watching this stream for a very, very long time, Brett Mollison has been with us virtually since day one that we brought this podcast to YouTube, which was back in game week 4 last season. And Brett Mollison has shown so much support. He lives in Australia and he just listens to us whenever he can, even live sometimes. And it's like, what, 2 o'clock in the morning, Brett? So Brett, welcome to the stream, my friend.
Good morning. Oh, good evening to you. It's 20 to 3 in the morning.
What, now?
I just love everything. It's 20 to 3 in the morning, yeah.
And this is exactly my point. This is unreal. I'm actually kind of like getting a bit embarrassed from this because this is just amazing. Wow. Tell us where to start with this. Tell us what brings you to this show every week, or in this case, every day at the moment.
I just love, I admire your passion for the game. Just keep coming back, doing your streams. I sort of see a lot of myself in you with just like, just the love for the game of the FPL. And it's only my second season coming up. So at the start of last season, I joined a bit late, and then I sort of was just looking up all things FPL, and I came across you guys. I don't know, quite early on, maybe game week 5 or 6, and then just the way that you 3 boys chat along about everything FPL was like me and my mates growing up following the soccer. So I was like, got to keep coming back.
Yeah, I have to say the commitment that you show for us is... Do you follow us on Twitter?
I'm not part of Twitter.
Oh, you're not part of... Sorry, I was just going to bring you up on Twitter, that's all. If you're not there, you're not there. What a shame. I was just going to let everybody...
The Discord is a great, fantastic innovation for people like me, because I've never been on Twitter, so...
Yeah, in fact... What are your thoughts on this kind of new kind of strategy that the 3 of us have... Well, it was Jason's idea, but the 3 of us are doing with this Discord live chat now, especially when it comes to... basically live reaction when we do this next season.
Well, there's going to be a lot of drama. I mean, I got Discord late last season, and I found a thread where people would go on there and just chat during live games, and like it just goes off. So I could just imagine I was being able to do like a voice chat in the Hangout or whatever it is, and react, especially with the potential for the goal disallowed or given for VAR and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be mad.
So the question on everybody's lips is, how's your team setting up so far?
Well, I did post in Rate My Team.
If you have any idea where it potentially could be, or is it quite early on?
Just near Andy's and...
Oh, was it? Oh, right, okay.
Andy's and FPL Boone. Not long ago, I posted it.
Well, if you just, off the top of your head, if you can think of what your team is, that'd be cool.
Well, I just can't get away from the 5-3-2.
Right. Okay. Oh, here we are. I've got your team up, and Andy, Brett. So we'll bring it up on the screen. If you carry on talking about what your what your thoughts are on your, what did you say, 3-5-2 formation? That'd be awesome. Five, 3-2. Sorry, I've got it up on the screen now, so everybody able to see what your team is.
Sorry, are you there? Sorry.
Hello, but yeah, we're still here. Yeah, you're still live on air. I was just saying about your 5-3-2 formation. We got your team up on screen now, and it's, well, I've got to say, there's a couple of questions I'll ask, but you carry on, my friend.
So I've got the 5 at the back. I just see a lot of value there with like the points per million. I know it's aesthetically pleasing to have Salah, Sterling in there. I just I feel like if I don't have Salah, I can spread the money elsewhere and maybe get the points another way. So yeah, I mean it's Robinson, VVD, and TAA. I just see them as the 3 best defenders in the game. And I feel like I need 3 City. So and with the goalkeeper situation, I've gone with Edison as like a set and forget, just because I had a rotating 4.5s last year, but it doesn't seem like the way I want to go, because they've all gone up. And yeah, so and Laporte, well, I think he's the most nailed, and so try and bank some clean sheets with him. And Luka Dean, pretty attacking, and Everton have good fixtures, so I'll try and roll with that. And yeah, Fraser, Sterling, Siggy. Again, Siggy's, I mean, he's got the pens if they come. Quite a high scorer from last season. Good fixtures. I've got and Vardy. I took Vardy out, and I had Wilson and King as a Bournemouth triple up. I don't know. I think it's a bit too heavy, maybe, and I just think that Leicester could start with a bang, even with the fixtures, and like Vardy can score against anyone. So yeah, that's.
So my first instant question is, why no Salah, and you're that confident in Liverpool's defence that you're willing to triple up on them?
I mean, he's the game's highest scorer, Salah, but I mean, he let me down when I captained him a few times, and like I had this problem of changing between him and Aubameyang and Sterling and who else, Kane, and I kept missing out on returns and getting a 3-point captain. And I don't see myself moving off the 3 Liverpool. So as a season long venture, the points, I mean, I can't see them dropping away too much with the clean sheets, and they are so attacking. I mean, even Van Dijk can, get returns here and there up top. So I don't know. I just feel like the returns could come from, like, if they concede a goal. I mean, TAA and Robertson still pushing forward, could assist, and it makes the captain choice a little easier. Basically, Sterling most weeks to start the season, and if it's if I think that the tricky fixture, possibly Vardy or even Fraser, if the fixtures are there. What are your thoughts, Stevo?
Well, you posted in the Discord the other day about the fact that you didn't want that captaincy headache, and obviously I would think Sterling would be your captain virtually every other week, and you did make the point that you would be happy to captain in this case, someone like Jamie Vardy, or if you were to change that or anything, like another 9 million player. I mean, I agree with what you were saying about Trent and Robertson. I made this point the other day that they will, in each game between them, either get you a clean sheet, a goal, or an assist in every single game next year. I personally think. So I think that the argument for having them two, or even Van Dijk, but certainly for Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, I think the argument for having them both is there. Tripling up though, God, it's like Boone has just mentioned regarding VAR. It's what if Norwich or whoever Liverpool are playing, they get that penalty going against them because of VAR or whatever, and you've got that triple up in defence and you've just lost all them points. Now, admittedly, I've just said that Trent and Robertson could get you an assist or a goal in the games as well, but I'm just somebody that I like to spread my players from a specific team across the board if I was to triple up. So, for example, it would be a combination of 2 defenders, 1 midfielder, a defender, a midfielder, a striker, as an example. I mean, Block and Boone were having with the Bournemouth, for example, both strikers and their most creative midfielder in Fraser. I mean, I look at the team though, and I'll ask you this question, which is this: something that's been kind of like inspiring me over the last few hours, really, has been this 5-man defence. Vince Chapman, obviously, raving on about it. Yourself, we had Jason from Cyprus last night. You know, I'm assuming you're thinking then that you're kind of heavily thinking that the backing of 5 premium defenders will actually pay off ahead of having maybe an extra midfielder, as an example, or an extra attacker.
Well, last season was my first season. I did follow, for those of you who don't know, I follow Leeds United. And so I was a very close follower of the Premier League when we were in it. But since we were relegated, I didn't follow it as closely as I used to. So I did miss the most of, like, I followed it, from a distance. Didn't watch a lot of games. Like over here, I didn't have Sky or anything, so it was difficult. But I'm going by the results from last season, and basically at the end of the season, the points, a lot of the defenders are up there. So I mean, if I'm not chopping and changing them for the season, the 3 Liverpool defenders should get close to 200, or I mean, maybe even if they drop a bit, I still think that 7, 7, and 6.5 is great value. Granted, I did miss. Apparently, did Salah get the season before 300 points? Was that right?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's one out of the box, but I mean, he was it only 20 or 30 points between him and Sterling. So I just see so much value there. I just can't. Every time I try and go less than 5, I feel like I'm short.
Do you? Yeah.
So
Do you fear, though? I mean, I'm stating that I am truly stating the obvious, but do you think there's people like me, you, etc., that are just basing all our information so much on last year regarding like the amount of clean sheets and everything that we're just looking back in the past rather than actually thinking, how can I explain this? It's really weird to explain. It's because Liverpool got the 21 clean sheets last year, we're thinking, well, they should do exactly the same next year. I mean, what if they regress really, really badly? How are you going to counter that if, for example, Liverpool, they start conceding in every single game? Even if it's just one goal, you're not getting those clean sheets whatsoever. It's a tough one. It's the problem looking at that specific team is that if you don't captain Sterling, you're kind of relying on either Fraser, Sigurdsson, Vardy or King. And their reliability is quite literally all over the place. I mean, I keep banging on. Well, I don't keep banging on about it. I mentioned earlier about last year, Leicester-Chelsea ending 0-0. And that was when Vardy was in the form of his life. And yet he blanked. And I captained him in that one game where I thought there'd be goals galore. And he goes and blanks. Are you not concerned that you don't have at least another solid captaincy option like Sterling or Harry Kane or Aubameyang or someone like that?
Well, as I was saying, I kept like I had different options through the season. But I think I had Kane that week that he blanked against Cardiff at home early on. Do you remember everyone? Like things like that, and I had other stages. Salah on a blank. Aubameyang. So I just think Sterling could go another level. I think he could grow in and just maybe get even closer to Salah, and so I don't see I don't see Man City having nailed on defenders like Liverpool. I mean, apart from Edison and Laporte, that's why I've got I've got those triple up at Liverpool just because I'm confident in them starting, and if I stick to my guns and if I captain Sterling most weeks or every week, then the points will come on occasion instead of keep jumping around and keep missing, because I was so frustrated with my captain choices. And maybe on occasion he gets rotated, and then maybe Vardy. I mean, this is like we're still about 4 weeks away. I did have a little bit of a tinker with Kane in the position where Vardy is, but I had to change like the goalkeeper down to Ryan or someone like a 4.5, and I just sort of didn't like the look of it as much, because at the moment my team has 0.5 in the bank, so I'd need 1.5 so Edison to a 4.5 would get me Kane. So I mean,
do you know what I mean? You saying that out like so. To clarify, who would you would get rid of Vardy for Kane if you were to do that scenario?
Sorry, what was that?
If you were to do that scenario just now, so you downgrade Edison to Matt Ryan or any 4.5, because you got 0.5 in the back now, you would upgrade Vardy to Kane.
Yeah, that'd be the option to give me the premium up there.
Me personally, hearing that out loud now, I think that is an amazing transfer to do. I think that you having Kane instead of Vardy in that team and downgrading Edison to whatever 4.5 you feel you want would be an absolutely fantastic upgrade, in my opinion. And the fact that then you will have 2 captaincy options to choose from. I mean, Harry Kane at home to Aston Villa, for me, shouts out hat-trick, for me, or a minimum of a double-digit score return, points-wise anyway, i.e. a goal and assist, 2 goals or whatever. I think what Boone was saying about the fact that Ndombele has joined the club and it will stop Kane from dropping so deep tells me that Harry Kane could be in for a really good season this year if he stays fit. They were mentioning it on the Planet FPL podcast earlier on about the fact that, you know, over the last X amount of seasons, Harry Kane has been in the in the high 20s when it comes to scoring. And last season, obviously, he was injured for a certain amount of time, and he's still got 17 goals. And this season, based on the fact that he's had rest, you know, he's the main man at Tottenham, and Tottenham's fixtures, again, I think they're being overlooked. I think Vardy to Kane is a really, really good idea. Because for me, I don't know about you, but I just find I get the logic. I mean, realistically, Liverpool, if they do regress, they'll get at least a minimum of 16 clean sheets next season. So that's kind of in the bag. Plus the attacking returns, you're still getting a very, very high points return from them 3. City, you know, again, similar amount of clean sheets. But Ederson doesn't get many save points. Whereas someone like, for example, Nick Pope of Burnley, he could, if Burnley start off well next year, then getting on to a Burnley defender or their goalkeeper is going to be essential, because if we start off well, it means that we're going to be keeping a lot of clean sheets. And we all know that clean sheets are just a lottery, really. But it's the save points, and Ederson rarely gets save points whatsoever. I think, Brett, you talking live on air, I think you should do it. In fact, let's ask Chat. Chat, you've got the team up on screen at the moment. You've got Brett's team up on the screen at the moment. What do you think of that idea of downgrading Ederson to a 4.5, which means then he could upgrade Vardy to Harry Kane? So everybody in chat, if you wanna let us know what you think about that move. But for me personally, I think it's absolutely a fantastic idea. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what happens, Steve-O? I'll captain Kane against Villa and still not score a hat-trick against West Ham.
Again,
that's how it works, eh?
Yeah.
That's the emotional roller coaster we love, right?
That is, unfortunately, the major downside to having... But you could argue that with anything. And You know how I keep banging on about my history and everything. And I do look into that a lot. And I just think that... Oh, actually, a lot of people are thinking that... A lot of people are thinking Vardy. A lot of people are actually thinking you're going with the right one in Vardy. So, Vince Chapman going mental in chat about...
at the end of last season, obviously, I think he was playing injured. Like, he was rushing back from the ankle injury. It wasn't the Kane that I'd seen before. And I guess it's a wait and see. I mean, there are times where he drops so deep, and just with I guess the new signing and Son being out, I don't know. I just have this enthusiasm about Leicester with Maddison, Perez, Tielemans. Maybe he'll get a bit better service, Vardy. So I mean, he seems to score against anyone. Like, even if the fixtures are a bit rough, like, they'll concede, but they'll still go forward and score. And I think they get a lot of penalties. I don't know. Is there a stat I saw? They're in the top 3, and obviously Vardy's on penalties. So
What are your I mean, we just had Andy on air, and he was saying about not specifically relying on statistics, but how do you look at statistics?
Well, I to be honest, I have done, just because, like, if I was just looking at the total points. I mean, yes, Salah was the top scorer, but he played. He would have played more minutes than Sterling, and Sterling wasn't too far behind. I don't comb through hours and hours and hours. But just on the basic stuff. I've just obviously I'm still learning. A lot of the people that you'd interact with have been playing for 10 years plus, or close to. So,
or in John Harris's or in John Harris's case, it was his first season last year, and he ended up, what was it? He was definitely in the top 1,000, wasn't he? Which I still can't get my head around. I find that absolutely ludicrous. Have you entered
that's amazing.
It is. Have you entered our Cash Mini League?
I have. I've donated.
How are you? Based on last.
Spot on. Donated. I absolutely agree. Donated.
Congrats, Bruno. Congrats, Bruno. Congrats.
Thank you, my man.
So I forgot Boone was even here. So Brett, based on last year's high standards of the elite FPL community within that free mini league, are you feeling confident doing well in this particular Cash Mini League? Or in all seriousness, are you just doing it for the fun of it?
Oh, it's going to be fun. I mean, with, like, from a distance, seeing how Jason was doing well, and Block FPL, John Harris and Jack Gleason and Davey FPL, the standard is pretty tough. So I'm not setting expectations to take out the league, just to be a part of it. It would just be fun. I mean, because last season was a bit awkward because I made a last-minute decision to play, and it was probably about this time in the morning. I think, was it game week 1 last year, Man United Leicester? And I just thought, I don't know, I saw advertising about FPL, and I thought, you know what, I'll play. But I was making my team, and I didn't realize that there was an hour before the match was when it cut off, and I'd obviously missed the cutoff, and then I'd be making my team for game week 2, but I didn't know. And then I only realized a few weeks later when I was checking my scores. That's how I knew I was. So I felt like I was always behind, and actually my team was dross. I had so many players in there that you probably wouldn't have had, because I made it on the fly in just a few minutes trying to make the kickoff. And then so I think I wild carded early, and then I made some bad transfers, and sort of fought my way back. I think I was 5-6 million for most of it, and then it ended up 1.2. So basically I'll be going for maybe top 500k, maybe top 100, see how it goes. But it would just be fun to be part of the mini league, and just the interaction on the Discord. And
well, talking of which, Brett, so regular contributor Vince Chapman is asking you, how will you I know exactly how you'll feel. How will you feel if Norwich score in the first few minutes obviously in game week 1?
It hurts, but I've got to have confidence in the way that Liverpool go forward. And I mean, Trent takes a lot of set pieces. I just feel I just feel like that they play like midfielders. So they're listed as defenders, but they go forward and attack so much. So when they don't concede, obviously they get their 4 points, and they're heavily in the bonus. Because even when Salah scores, he seems to drop out of bonus.
Yeah.
Like if it's a 1-1, Salah scores, and Norwich score. Like it's one of those things where I still see the defenders in the bonus, just because Salah. I mean, apart from scoring, whether it's like from everything that he does throughout the game, apart from the goal, doesn't get him into the bonus. So I don't know.
We've obviously got. Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say. Yeah, the Norwich scoring in the first few minutes. Yeah, it's not a great start to the season, but as I say, it's not about just the one game week. I just feel like they are that good that every time if I drop Van Dijk, then I think I need to get him back. And same with Robbo, same with TAA. I'm just like, I need to triple up at the moment. I just can't get away from it. So we'll see if that gets me in trouble. But it's I just hoping that Sterling can match Salah, and I'll just roll with it for now.
So obviously,
and the good games will come. The good games will come where there'll be an assist to one of them or two of them, and then there'll be a clean sheet and some bonus. And the point's sure that the top 10, there wasn't many like premium forwards in there. I know Salah was first and Sterling was second, but I mean, if TAA plays more minutes, I mean, he's real gold. Like he's at 7 million, he'll be out like scoring. Well, Kane, like as opposed to last season, Kane, and it just seems I just can't get away from the value.
It's like you said though, you're having to rely on these players throughout the whole season. I mean, we've got FPL Boone still here. Boone, what do you think on Brett's upside down Christmas tree in the 5-3-2 formation?
I think it's nice, but I would be worried about not owning Salah, and also coupled with a triple Liverpool defence, like you just mentioned. If a goal is conceded early, but for me, my head's gone. Regardless of the fact that Trent and Robertson and even Van Dijk are capable of attacking returns, I wouldn't want to be relying on that. So, based on that alone, I wouldn't have the cojones to go with that. But I salute you, absolutely. And I wish you all the best. And I hope that when Norwich score in the second minute, that you've taken those blood pressure tablets.
So Brett, just a bit of background for people that don't know. So you're in Australia, but my understanding is you're from England, but you seem to have an Australian tint in your accent.
Yeah, look, I was born over there, in York, and I moved over here with my parents when I was young, when I was 9, back in 1992. So I've been here a long time. Got a bit of the accent. Some people say, some people don't. Some words, but yeah. So I've been here a long time. But yeah, mad Leeds fan, and that's.
So with the way, we the English can't actually watch any Premier League games unless we're subscribed to various large channels. You get to watch the football for free. How do you actually watch a lot of football to help you with fantasy football?
Well, it's not actually free here. I pay for Optus Sport, which has the Premier League rights. It used to be on the main Sky here, but it's like a separate thing. You get on an app. You can probably run through your TV, but So I just watch the games on my tablet, and basically I'll watch as many games as I can depending on the fixture. So I'll be watching, obviously hiding behind the couch, but watching Liverpool Norwich, and then you got the early kickoff. I'll be watching that, and then there's I think it's about 11 p.m. here, the 3 o'clock game for you. And then if there's one which is like 1:30 in the morning here, usually I'll watch that one. And then the only problem comes from sometimes when they're maybe Tuesday morning or maybe Monday morning at like 3 a.m. For work. It's kind of difficult sometimes. But yeah, I try and get because I love the sport. So as well as it, obviously the eye test is good to see what's going on. Yeah, I'll watch as much as I can.
What I'm gonna do, Brett, is are you cool to stay on air for a bit?
Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, I mean it's it's 3:15 a.m. I got no plans.
That's crazy. That's awesome. So what I'll do is I'll get Colin the Moon on air. So Colin the Moon, I'm going to get you live on air to speak with myself, Brett, and Boone, if you're okay. So I'll get you live in the chat. Hello, Colin. Are you there? Okay. So I'll get you live in the chat. Colin, if you could turn down the stream on the whatever media you're listening to us from, then we won't have the delay. He's listening on the stream. I'll put him back in the waiting room. So, Colin, if you're listening in, when we bring you on live on air, or for anybody that's in Discord that comes live on air, make sure that when you come live on air, not to be watching the stream back, and just put your headphones into whatever laptop or whatever form of media you're looking at us from, or just turn the stream sound off. So we'll give Colin another go. We've got Colin's team up on screen at the moment. So Colin's going with a 3-5-2, and we'll be able to discuss with him live on air what his thought process, and maybe get Brett Mollison and FPL Boone's thoughts on it. So, Colin, hello there. The wonders of live streaming, eh, Brett?
Well, I'm not actually watching the stream because I was worried about it interfering.
Oh, right, okay.
So I don't because you were saying that there's a feedback or there's a delay.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, here, Colin's here. Hello, Colin.
So what Colin needs to do is exit off of YouTube, stop watching that stream, and use Discord as his primary speaker.
I'll tell you what. We'll bring. There's a Ryan. There's a Ryan there. Hello, Ryan. If you're there, we'll bring you live on air. Hello, Ryan. Are you there?
There's a Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
They're all listening to it back on the stream. It's great, isn't it? Hello, Ryan.
Hello?
He's listening in the thing. We can't.
Hello?
Hello, Ryan. Are you there? I'm gonna, for anybody that's a Talk Sport fan, especially late at night, I'm gonna do an Andy Goldstein. Make sure you turn the stream off. Ryan, are you there?
Hello?
Hello there.
Hello?
Welcome to the Elite FPL radio show. How are you, mate?
I am, thank you.
Well, that's a different accent. Where are you from, Ryan?
I'm from Mauritius. Sorry if you will not be able to understand my English, because in my country we talk a lot of French, so...
Which country is this, Ryan?
Mauritius in the Indian Ocean.
Wow. Oh, wow. And what brings you to the Elite FPL stream? How did you find us?
on Twitter. I used to go through the FPL content, Twitter accounts, and I found that streaming live content, and I found it interesting.
That's fantastic. So I'll bring your team up on the screen at the moment. So if you want to listen into this, Brett.
It's already on the Rate My Team.
That's right. Yeah, we've got it up now. So Boona will be interested in this. So Boona, listen up to this. So we've got Ryan and Button, and then a double up in Everton defence of Digne, Coleman, and then we got.
So that's my plan for after a few game weeks. There's another team that I put 5-3-2.
What? So after a period of weeks, you'll be changing to a 5-3-2.
I'll start with a 5-3-2. Then after some game weeks, when Son return for Tottenham, I'll go for a 4-4-2.
Right. So what? So the team that you've put up in the Discord at the moment, I've got it as a 4-4-2 at the moment. That's what's on screen at the moment. Is there another one in there? Is there?
Yeah, it's a.
Ryan, are you there?
You see it?
Is it just above?
Yes, just above.
Ah, here we are. Right, I'm hoping this is the one because I had a few issues yesterday. Yeah, there we are. Right, so for game week 1, right, I'm with you now. So we've got Ryan in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Digne, Coleman, Zinchenko, Robertson, Sterling, Salah, Bernardo Silva, King, and Wilson. Right, so do you want to tell us about your triple up in, well, your double up actually in Man City midfield? What's your thoughts behind having Bernardo Silva?
Actually, I found and I think that Bernardo Silva will deliver a very good season. He'll have a lot of points because the season before he got few assists and a few goals with only 1,500 minutes. I think that he underperformed last year, and that this year he'll end at 8.0 million. I think that is very good value.
Yeah, I mean, what FPL Boone, if you're there, what are your thoughts on a double up in midfield of Bernardo Silva and Sterling?
I don't really like Bernardo Silva. I mean, everyone has their own preferences. However, for me, Bernardo Silva doesn't provide enough explosive threat. And as I've mentioned before, that's my preference, and that's another reason why, for example, I prefer Richarlison over Sigurdsson. Just feel he's more explosive. So for me, I don't really like that. But looking at the team generally, I think the team's looks great. It's just that Bernardo Silva spot that I'm not too sure on.
Yeah, Brett, I mean, we've got another team here obviously going with a 5-man defence. Is this breeding confidence for yourself?
Yeah, well, I, because I'm not on Twitter, but I've listened to a couple of other podcasts.
Hold a minute, what?
Like the one, well, somebody called Steve kept plugging Planet FPL. So I was drawn towards Planet FPL and listening
it's
to
excellent content. In all seriousness, their stuff is superb.
Yeah. Or like the 30 and 30s and that. But they were saying that apparently a lot of people on Twitter are posting 5 at the back. So, I mean, I'm unaware of that because I'm not on there. But, I mean, there's a few in Discord. Time will tell. I'm happy to hide behind the couch a bit if it happens, but
So back to you, Ryan.
I understand that. Sorry, Steve.
Is this all right?
I was going to say, hearing last season, my first season, apparently 3-4-3 has been the favoured formation forever for everyone.
Yeah.
And I get that, with the three at the back, you might lose a clean sheet, and it doesn't matter because you got your three strikers banging goals. They could all get hat tricks. But maybe if defenders playing like mids is, maybe 5 could be the go. I'm happy to go that way for now. There's still a few weeks to go, but the more 5 at the back, I'll be a bit happier.
So Ryan, if you're still there, you're confident in Bournemouth's attack.
For the few first game weeks, I think that especially versus Sheffield United, that both will deliver.
So just to clarify, so this is going to be your game week 1 team. So the team below, what is that one then?
One thing I'll clarify. I agree with FPL Boone because I think that between Bernardo Silva and Sigurdsson, maybe I'll switch to Sigurdsson before the season, taking into consideration how Everton is doing in pre-season.
And Boone, what are your thoughts on Ryan here going with Son once he comes back from suspension?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the absolute perfect move. I think I'd probably be doing the same. We know what Son's capable of, so as long as he does get straight back into the team, I think it's a perfect choice.
That's awesome. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take it easy, dude.
Bye.
Thank you. There we are. There we are, everybody. That was Ryan there from the Indian Ocean. That is absolutely fantastic. I think that. I mean, you're from Australia, Brett. Me and Boone are basically London-based, and then everybody else is either from Scotland or New Zealand or like you're Australia. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? Getting all these people from around the world into the elite FPL community.
Steve,
and to think you... Sorry,
Brett. Just
go on,
quickly,
Boone.
Steve. Question to you guys first, and also to chat. Really random, different to what we've just discussed. Thoughts on Salah triple captain in game week 1?
Dan.
I mean, I
It's funny you say that. Dan, I don't know where this come from, but Dan made that point in our WhatsApp group. I don't know why he even came out with this. Maybe you and him have been having cahoots or whatever, but no, I can't be having. It's a bit like someone's just mentioned it just there. No, but no, not for me. Not for me. What about you, Brett?
Salah triple captain. Well, it's a bit difficult because he's not on my squad, but I wouldn't want to be using that too early.
Block FPL seems to agree.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Salah triple captain is an option here. You've got to be. I mean, I don't know about you, Brett, but I just find with the chips, you've just got to go with the crowd and just play it in a double game week, surely.
Well, I was just thinking that if there's a double game week, it's a long way away yet, but I mean, unless you get unlucky with someone like Sane, double game week would be the way to go. Maximize it. Unless, of course, there's no one with a double game week with a decent fixture. Yeah. I just wouldn't want to use it so early. I mean, I'd rather Norwich score than use my triple captain.
Yeah, I know the feeling here. I completely agree with what you're saying there. Boone, what's going on in chat here? What are people saying in chat for the moment, mate?
We've got a bit of a mixed opinion. Gotham has said you had to go and say it, didn't you? Had to go and jinx it. We've got someone saying, nah, We got Tahir saying it's a possibility. Resi Desi goes, it's tempting. I've thought about it. So there's a bit of mixed opinion out there. Ray Joyce feels that that's one way to go kill your season straight out of the gate.
A question to you both. Do you think, though, that the chips which are specifically aimed at getting the highest points potential possible with the triple captain, do you not think, though, that it could be used at any time of the season rather than just a double game week? For example, when we saw Salah getting his hat-trick and an assist versus Huddersfield. I forget specifically what he did, but
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it can, and in fact, I triple captained Salah in a single game week last season. Unfortunately, the wrong game week to do so. So I triple captained Salah in the fixture away to Fulham, and after that, my head was completely gone. And then, of course, he goes and scores that massive haul in the game home to Huddersfield. So it can pay off. So I think the feelings are so raw from my failure last season is why I'm thinking, well, why wait for that eventual headache when you could just go all out from the start with a perfect fixture.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll try and bring in another one of the guys from the live stream, Dereco. So Dereco, if you're there, please make sure that the stream is either turned off or the sound is off at least. Would it be the sound as well? Just the sound, Boone?
Yeah, so ideally, just to make your life easier, turn off the YouTube stream. If you're watching it from your phone, turn it off and just use the voice from the Discord. That way you're in real time, and obviously then there'll be a slight delay to people listening to it on YouTube, but there won't be a delay for us, so it'll all be more coherent.
So Dereco will get you live on air right now. So Dereco, are you there?
Hello. How's it going, boys?
Good afternoon. Or good evening from us.
Good evening. Hello.
G'day, mate.
Hello, mate.
Good evening, pal.
So where
How's
are
it
you?
going, guys?
Where are you calling us from, Dereco?
I'm from North London.
Oh right.
What side?
What side? The north side. I don't know. Enfield?
Which team do you support?
Which team?
Chelsea.
God.
It doesn't make sense, but it is what it is, isn't it?
So, what are your thoughts on Chelsea this season, and more importantly, what are your thoughts on them from a FPL perspective?
So, just in general, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Lampard, because I feel like it's going to go one way or another. We're either going to do well because the team's going to play for him and the fans are going to be supporting us because they're going to like the manager, or it's just not going to click and it's going to be bad. I can see us finishing outside the top 6 or in the top 4. It's easy to say that, obviously, but it's how I feel. I don't feel there's going to be a middle ground like 6th. I think it's going to be good or bad. And in terms of FPL with Chelsea, it's still too early because I don't know who's going to start or anything. I really want to bring in Pulisic because
really?
I haven't got a feed. Yeah, I haven't it's only my second year on FPL, yeah, properly. And last season, I just used my gut a lot. Do you know what I mean? Just watching the games, not really tracking stats or anything. And I didn't do good. I got 180,000, and I took 80 points worth of hits. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm very indecisive. So I'm trying to work on that right now. Even now already, I've made 20 different drafts. So I've just got to dial it in a bit.
So going on.
Now's the time to make
you fit right in with us.
Drafts. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So going on Chelsea, are you with me where I personally think that Chelsea defensive options, especially someone as solid as Pelaqueta, are being overlooked?
I feel because I feel the same. I don't feel like people are overlooking them. I feel just the uncertainty in who's going to start is what's putting people off. So if Alonso starts most of the preseason games, I feel like people are going to heavily consider getting Alonso in just because of his attacking threat. So I think ask me that question in 2 weeks, and I think you'll see. I think people are gonna start putting more Chelsea players in their teams.
Yeah, I mean,
I
But-
don't know.
FPL Boone, who's live with us at the moment, he was praising David Luiz mainly for his explosive potential. Really, what are your thoughts on David Luiz as a Chelsea option?
He's very good, I feel like, because he likes taking them pop shots from outside the box. He runs around in the box from a corner. He's always up for a header. The only thing is, now that Zuma's in the picture, Zuma's in the picture, and also Christensen, I feel like Lampard wants to bring maybe a younger defence in. So I don't see David Luiz getting as many regular minutes as last season.
Very good point.
That's the worry, because also Zuma, he's a top defender in my opinion. I think he should be us. If you told me who should be playing, obviously I don't have all the information on like training and everything, but I'd say just from an outsider's view, we should have Zuma and Rudiger as our two centre backs, Emerson at left back because he's more defensively sound, and Azpilicueta at right back unless we get someone new, which we can't obviously. So Azpilicueta will be right back. That would be my main four. But Zuma would be in there and not David Luiz.
Directo, I've seen I've seen that Everton are still interested in signing Zuma permanently. Have you heard anything about that recently? Because if he does stay at Chelsea now, then I think you're absolutely spot on there. Luiz isn't he had a good season last season, but generally he's not as defensively sound.
I try to stay on top of the transfer stuff. I've got the OneFootball app. I just look at transfers on there, and also like the Sky Sports transfer daily thing. I haven't seen anything on Zuma recently, and I would hope we wouldn't sell him just simply due to the fact that we can't bring anyone in until next summer. So you never know. Like two of our centre backs could get injured again. Say Rudiger gets injured again and David Luiz gets injured. We've got no more depth. So we really should not sell Zuma, in my opinion. And if he stays and is a starter, I'd probably bring him in because I'd say he'd come in at around 5.5, maybe 6. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a good chance that you do keep him. I think historically he would have been a transfer just waiting to happen. But now that Frank Lampard's in. He's going to be wanting to breed youth. Like in the past, you've sold the likes of, Salah, De Bruyne, Nathan Ake, let Tammy Abraham go on loan. Do you imagine that becoming less and less now?
Under Lampard and under our current situation of the whole transfer thing, I do think so, definitely. And I feel like this is an opportunity for like the board to see the benefits of keeping young talent, and it could genuinely transfer the way our club is run even in the future after our transfer, if it works well. Obviously, if the youth comes through and does their part and shows the club that look, there's something here, work with us, you know what I mean, instead of just spending like 120 million on Coutinho, let's use Hudson-Odoi for 2 years, see what he's got in his locker, do you know what I mean? And that's
Steve,
another one. Sorry, go on.
Steve, is that the Chelsea fixtures you've got up right now?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, if I'm going to say outright, if Chelsea didn't have that United away first fixture, I think we'd all have at least one, if not two, Chelsea assets in our team.
I don't know about you, Dereco, but I don't know why everybody's going mad about the Man United game. I don't think it's that tough a fixture at all.
I don't know. Right now, definitely not. With their current defense, definitely not. But if they get in Maguire and say Wan-Bissaka kicks off, it will be a solid defense, I think. And if De Gea's back to his top, it's just too. In my opinion, anything that's all the teams now, except for obviously Salah and Sterling, these players, a lot of players are going to change towards the start of the season just because of new transfers. Injuries that could happen and all of that. So for me to tell you now, like personally right now, I'd say definitely if Tammy Abraham or Batshuayi are cheap, I'd get one of them just because I don't care about the Man United. We can score against them at least 2 or 3.
I've got some.
If we play well,
I've got some breaking news.
Okay.
My team Burnley have beaten Fulham in a pre-season friendly. Chris Wood, so he's the latest bandwagon. Everybody, Chris Wood.
Everyone getting.
I've liked the look of Chris Wood in recent seasons. To be honest, he reminds me a lot of Harry Kane. I know he's not scoring as many goals, but he's playing for Burnley. I think he's got bags of potential.
I've I've just said to everybody, so anybody listening to this, if you're not in the live chat but you're listening to this, if you're on Twitter, can you please tweet out hashtag EliteFPL Radio? I want to see if we can get it trending potentially tonight, but you never know. You mentioned, Dereco, just a minute ago, Pulisic. What are your thoughts on Pulisic this season?
So with Pulisic, obviously in Dortmund he did well for I think a season, and then Jadon Sancho came in and took that spot, so he fell off. But now in the Gold Cup, I think it is in America, he did very well. I think he got like 2 goals and 1 assist in like 3 or 4 games. That one, the Pulisic thing is more of a gut feeling for me and the Chelsea bias more than a statistic thing. So obviously not many people would do that one, but I feel like for me, I'd do it, and if it pays off, it pays off. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And
where does he play?
So he can play on the left and the right. So I don't know if Hudson-Odoi is fit. I think Hudson-Odoi will play on the left and he'll play on the right. So yeah, I think he'll play on the right. Yeah.
I was a massive fan of Hudson-Odoi towards the end of last season. I was just
how could you not be?
I was one of those few people that I actually bought him in, and he was a really good differential for me when he did actually play.
Yeah.
I think I was the one that jinxed him when he got injured versus, funny enough, us lot, Burnley. But Hudson-Odoi this season, he's 6 million. You know,
oh man,
is he somebody that you'd definitely have in your squad?
I don't 100%. If I know he's fit, he's in. I don't care, because he's got bags of potential to become the next top talent. From what I've seen him play in the Europa League last season, and even in Prem games, he can handle himself, quick on his feet, can turn left, right, put it bottom bins, all of that. He's got it all in his locker, yeah. So if he's fit at the start of the season, he's in. I don't care if he's not guaranteed to start for me. I'm just gonna. It's a punt, and it'll pay off massive if he kicks on. It'll pay off massive.
Does he stay at Chelsea, do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because Bayern apparently are still interested.
Nah. We don't sell him. We don't even have the depth.
I'll hold you to that.
We don't even have the depth. If we sell him, we can't play Willian and Pedro all season. It's impossible. They're old men and they don't score. It's that simple. Yeah. So.
And do you personally have a preferred first team striker? So Abraham, Batshuayi, Giroud, of course. I've got my personal preference, but what would yours be as a Chelsea fan?
That's the only place where I'm not sure. See, Batshuayi, he's good at finishing. He's a clinical finisher, yeah. But his mental isn't there. So like he's positioning and making runs. He's not good at taking instructions, right? Tammy Abraham, I haven't really watched. I never watched championships. I don't know how he plays, but I've heard good things about him. And Giroud, no way. Like, not for the whole season. He can play in the Europa League again and get top goal scorer in the Europa League. But yeah, so it's Batshuayi, I'd say. He's just more proven, in my opinion.
So at the moment on screen, we've got your current team at the moment of a 4-5. Here we are, Brett. Another one advocating a lot of defenders. You're going with a 4-5-1. What's your? We'll read it out for anybody listening on audio. So it's Matt Ryan in goal, Ake, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Coleman, Grealish. That's interesting. Sterling, Sigurdsson, Salah, Fraser, and Wilson up front. And then whatever on the bench. So yeah, what are your thoughts on going with a 4-5-1?
So with me, as I said earlier, if you look at my desktop, there's already 11 saved drafts on there. Every hour I jump on fantasy and I change my team. So this isn't like set. So for me, the hardest part is having Salah and Sterling. I really want to have only Sterling. I feel like De Bruyne. If you look at De Bruyne, he was getting a lot of points. So I feel like it's worth taking that risk of switching Sterling for De Bruyne and investing that money somewhere else. It's just, do I have the bottle to do it? That's what it is. Grealish, he did very well in the championship, I think, and that's one of my punt ones. So I could swap Grealish for Hudson-Odoi because they're the same price. And Ake and Dunk, I've got Ake and Dunk. Dunk's a 4.5 right-hand defender. they're going to get rotated as it stands right here in the game week 3 fixture because Bournemouth play Man City and Brighton play. Who do Brighton play? They play a lower side. They play Southampton, so they'll get rotated. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking right now. Really, obviously Fraser, Wilson, they've all got good fixtures attacking wise. Sigurdsson, he's a steady pointer, and I feel so. I think if I have him in at the start of the season, he'll be in for quite a long time, as long as he stays fit, obviously. And Coleman over Digne, I just need the money. That's all that is, really. I know there's less point opportunity, but it is what it is. So yeah, sorry if I'm talking too much.
No. This is what this is all about, getting you guys involved.
Yeah.
Any questions from Boone or Brett on this team, guys?
I've not got a question, but I just wanted to say I quite like the Ake pick. The fixtures are great, and he's got massive attacking potential, and I've seen him in a few teams, but not many, so he could be a really nice pick.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. He's been in quite a few of my drafts, to be honest. I think I'm going to have him at the start of the season as long as he's at Bournemouth. Yeah.
So if you were to have a Chelsea player this season, who would it be? Hudson-Odoi?
Right now?
Now, yeah. If you were forced into having a player right now, what Chelsea player would you have?
It would probably be a defender, and it would probably be Azpilicueta, just because he's, in my opinion, the most certain to start, just based on that fact.
Dereco, just one more question. I like asking people that are new to the stream. How long have you been watching for, and what keeps bringing you back, basically? Because I've been noticing your name quite a lot.
Yeah, so obviously it's only my second year. And the first person that I found this person at the start of last season, and I heard you like him as well, is Andy from Let's Talk FPL. And then I was looking for more channels just to get, because Andy doesn't have as much content as this, because you lot stream pretty much every day for hours, which I love. That's what brings me back. I've got a lot of time right now. I don't have a full-time job. I just graduated. It's
congratulations,
guys. I love what you do, Steve, the most. Well, I've seen you the most. So I love what you do, with the streams.
Thank you.
I heard you say yesterday you weren't going to stream for 4 days. I almost had a panic attack. I don't know.
Do you hear that, Steve-O? No more of this no stream for 4 or 5 day business.
I was coming back from the gym just now, and I saw you online, and I was like, oh my god, I have to get home quickly.
What do you consume our content on? Is it through mobile phone, TV?
When I'm at home on my laptop, and then when I'm on the road, just my phone. Yeah, those two.
That's all. And just of interest, what gym do you go to? What
Right now, like a little pure gym.
Oh no!
I used to go to a hardcore bodybuilding gym, but it's just too
what
far.
gym do you go to, and what's the postcode?
So it's Southgate. Come say hi. I'll give you a spot.
I'll be too busy filming everybody. But anyway, that's a show for.
Sorry, you're cutting out. I didn't hear what you said.
It's all right. It's a.
Oh, sorry.
Dereco, mate, that was absolutely fantastic. And next time we're live on air, you're more than welcome to come on, mate.
No worries, mate. Thank you. Appreciate
awesome.
It. It was
Cheers,
a great
dude.
Time,
Enjoy creating your other 20-odd.
Oh, mate.
Actually,
I'll send you a screenshot of my desktop by the start of the season. It's going to be full.
That's a question for you. Just of interest. Why are you creating so many drafts? Is because there's just so many ideas?
Yeah, just seeing what fits, what works together. Obviously rotation options, and also just my indecisiveness. As I said, last season I did so many. I took so many hits because every week I was like, oh, this player's doing good. I'm gonna bring him in. Just a lot of. I struggle to keep a player for the foreseeable future. So my aim this season is gonna be, just because a player does bad 2 weeks, say Sigurdsson doesn't get points for 2 weeks, doesn't mean I'm gonna get him out straight away. I'm gonna give him another 2 games on top of that, just to keep it steady. Do you know what I mean? And try to hit for them 5-digit rankings, not the 6-digit ranking. So yeah. It's just
awesome.
indecisiveness basically. So
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, boys. I'm in the mini league as well, so
What, the
I'll
cash
see
one?
you in the the cash one. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
obviously not gonna win, but yeah.
Well, you
we'll be in.
say you say you may not win. You know, at the end of the day, I think I'll tell you what I will stress is that I know you don't really care, but I'm going to make this point anyway to anybody watching this on the replay or anything. Is that the reason why this podcast was brought to the YouTube audience is because, to be completely blunt with you, the private ones that we were doing on Facebook just wasn't getting any form of attention whatsoever, and we just felt, you know what, let's just bring it to YouTube and let's see what happens. And me, Dan and Jason know for a fact that you guys are going to be taking this cash mini league very, very seriously. We're going to be doing a lot regarding it, and it'll
yeah, I'm on it fully, but I just don't feel like I have the experience like you guys. But I'm gonna work on it, and maybe in a couple of years I'll be up there, hopefully.
Well, with all the information that people like yourself are getting from the Discord chat and from us, I mean, we're all gonna have the same team, but we're all gonna be copying Brett's team. We're all gonna be doing a 5-4.
Do you know what though? Do you know what, Dereco? And Steve, you can vouch for this. Who was it, Steve-O, that finished in the top 1 or 2K, and it was actually their first season this year?
It was John Harris,
So the fact that you've only played 2 seasons, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't strive for that top, 100 spot even, let's say. So, just aim high.
Yeah,
good motivation. Thank you.
Block FPL, who we had on earlier on, that was his last season was his 3rd or 4th one, and he ended up 50th in the world. And we have another YouTube content creator. I highly recommend you check out his stuff. He's online now. Davey FPL, you may know his stuff. He finished. He's been playing it for 3 seasons, and last season he ended up 22nd. It's ridiculous.
I'll definitely check him out, man.
It's absolutely ludicrous. So yeah, it's all fun and games, but there are plenty of people out there that have had fantastic seasons, but last year they failed, and I mean miserably. So we all have them ones. Dereco, you've been an absolute star.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Cheers.
Have a good night.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye. That's Dereco there, everybody, joining us live
Steve-O,
on air. Yes, mate.
We've got a question in the chat from Ramsey Sinclair. The question is, anyone hate the idea of going 4-4-2, but are doing it because it makes sense? I'll kick off. I hate the idea of playing 4-4-2. Something about the look of that formation just doesn't sit right with me. And for that reason, I'm not doing it. What's your thoughts on that?
Brett, we'll ask you first.
It's because you need 5 at the back, Bruno. That's why it doesn't look right.
3 more like for me.
Yeah, I mean,
look, I've made many drafts since it opened. The 3-4-3 and 3-5-2 just wasn't comfortable for me. Feeling like I need to spend a bit more down back, and then 4-4-2 was all right.
Just not enough risk for you, is it?
No, well, we're talking about this template thing. Then, yes, having Liverpool defense is template, but maybe having 3 is not. I don't know, because everyone's everyone's saying that template team by having maybe a Sigurdsson, a Frank. Everyone's going to have the same team going into the first few game weeks, and then
it's funny you mention. It's funny you mentioned Sigurdsson, because I'm actually seriously thinking of getting him gone. I don't know what it is. I just feel that I don't think Everton are going to be consistent enough with their scoring for me to have Sigurdsson in. I was thinking about getting in Kevin De Bruyne instead. What are your thoughts on that? Basically avoiding Everton attack.
To be honest, I was looking at Kevin De Bruyne in for Sigurdsson last night.
Right, okay.
It's very doable.
Yeah. I just because obviously he can assist like no one else, but I'm just obviously wait and see, because I wanted him last year, and then it was just injury ravage. I mean, You guys might know better than me, but I mean, surely there's some Man City pre-season fixtures, and we'll get a look at how fit he is and the minutes. And I mean, yeah, I'm definitely open to it. It's just
We all know what he's
yeah.
possible, off supplying. It's just, can he get back to his best, and can he stay injury free? Is the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, at the moment, as you guys were speaking, there, I've got a team doing a team up at the moment, and it has got Kevin De Bruyne in. So I'm gonna play around with that in a minute. But I think what we'll do is we'll get one more caller on chat. I did not realise we have been going on for flaming 2.5 hours. So number one. I know, it's crazy. Congratulations for everybody watching. We have just set a record for a Steve-O solo podcast. John Harris will be extremely happy. Here we go, Booner. If you're playing Steve-O bingo, here's one of my quotes. To everybody that's watching this, I genuinely cannot thank you enough. This has just been absolutely amazing. For the guys that joined us live on air, it's been brilliant. This is all for pure experiment and everything, and it's been an absolute blast, if I'm honest with you. We'll try with one more caller. We'll try with Colin the Moon again. So hopefully, Colin the Moon, if you're there. So, Colin, we'll bring you live in chat. Oh. No, I don't think Colin's with us. So I'll go with Boa Rice, or Boa Reese, however you want to be pronounced. So Boa Reese, we'll bring you live on air. Boa Reese. Hello there, Boa Reese, are you there?
Hi, yeah.
Hello there. Welcome to... That's the quickest one we've had so far. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, thanks.
Where are you calling us from?
I'm from Germany.
Dortmund. Oh. And you're...
Wow.
That's amazing. Have you, by any chance, posted your team in the Discord Rate My Team section by any chance? Oh, yeah, yes, here it is. Here it is, in latest. Fact.
It's a bit controversial, so...
Right, so here it is. So
we love controversy.
We'll bring it
5 at the back, is it?
No, it's not. It's 4 at the back, and it's gone with... So Boa Rice has gone with a 4-3-3 formation. Look at that. And you two, Brett and Boona, will be very interested. So for anybody in watching this live, they'll be able to see it on screen at the moment. But we're going with...
I've just seen it. Yeah. I've just seen it. Wow.
So Matt Ryan in goal, of course. And then it's Van Dijk, Robertson, Laporte and Digne. Ericsson, so Boona will have a few words on that. Bernardo Silva, just like Ryan earlier on. Sterling, Origi, Calvert-Lewin and Aubameyang. Boa Reese,
wow.
Over to you, mate. What are your thinking on going Salah-less?
Yeah, so I swapped Salah out this morning just to get Origi in to free some funds because I wanted to get Son after his ban. And so Ericsson is just a placeholder for the first 2 games, and I think I will get Fraser in, but maybe upgrade somewhere else. So...
Boona, as a Tottenham fan, what are your thoughts on Ericsson for the first 2 games and then Son coming in as a straight swap afterwards?
Repeat that for me, sorry. Stevie, you cracked up a bit.
What are your thoughts on having Ericsson have for the first 2 games and then swapping out for Son as a straight swap?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but you never know. Ericsson may even shock you and do well these first 2 games. And I actually quite like Ericsson as a pick because, if we start with Moussa Sissoko and Ndombele in that midfield slot, it could, give him that lease of life that he needs to press forward. So question back to you then is, if Ericsson does do well, what are your plans?
Oh, I'm going to sell him for Son.
Regardless?
Yeah, I think so. Now, my question for you is... would you free up the 1 million on the bench and get King in for Origi?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
But I would probably look to free up that 1 million instead from Bernardo Silva myself.
For who? For Zaha or?
What other midfield options have you considered at that, kind of 6.5 to 7.5 million kind of mark?
So mainly Fraser, Zaha, if he stays at Palace.
Yeah. I like Fraser. I think Fraser's a more explosive and better option given the fixtures early on, which would give you what is Bernardo Silva 8.5 right now.
No, he's 8.
He's 8. Okay, so that'd free you up 0.5 million, and altogether, you've got 1 million on the bench.
Yeah, McTominay and Mohamedi.
Yeah, so I mean, personally, I would switch out Bernardo Silva to Fraser. However, if you've got some personal liking for Bernardo Silva, then absolutely stick with your gut. But I think that 0.5 saved, I think, is worth more than the difference come the end of the season between Fraser and Bernardo Silva. Just my personal opinion.
You must be one of the few people in the world that actually owns in the elite in the FPL community that owns a Aubameyang. What has made you go with a Aubameyang?
Well, he's just a goal scorer, so I think he's really...
Does it also help that he played for Dortmund, where you're from?
Yeah, kind of. But I think he will be Arsenal's main man. If Arsenal wants to have any success this season, it has to be Aubameyang.
Do you think actually, as a former Dortmund player, do you think Mkhitaryan could be in for a new lease of life, so to speak, next season, or do you think he's just going to be still just shoved out to the back?
He has a very hard time with Emery, so I don't think so.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because the way them two performed with each other at Dortmund was absurd, and then of course Mkhitaryan left, and that was it. But so yeah, Brett Mollison, what are your thoughts on this particular team, especially the Origi, Aubameyang, and Eriksen picks? They're a bit left field, very left field, in fact.
Well, I mean, Aubameyang, great fixture against Newcastle to start. I mean, I haven't looked closely at Arsenal just because the way that, I mean, Emery trolled me last season. If I had Lacazette, when I had Lacazette, he was benched. When I had Aubameyang, he was benched. So I was going around in circles with my Arsenal assets, and I basically had enough. So I'm staying clear of Arsenal. But if we're looking at Newcastle as being the relegation contender when Benitez is gone now, I mean, that captain could be provide dividends. Yeah, not for me. I'm not holding grudges, as Steve-O says. Origi. I'm hearing stories that Mane may not play, so Origi could be a solid pick. I'm not sure where this team's going after because Origi could be benched. So
yes,
I'm not sure.
It's a tough one, isn't it? So just of interest,
because you've got.
Yeah, go on, Brett.
Sorry, I was going to say you've got Calvert-Lewin, and the 4-3-3. I'd want to go a bit stronger with one of the other strikers. So yeah, I like Eriksen. I mean, I had him last year. I do prefer Son, but obviously with the suspension, I mean, Son would probably be my team if he wasn't suspended.
Well, are you not concerned about Origi? The fact that he won't be in that starting lineup probably beyond game week 1.
Yeah, that's one of the problems I have. But I can get King in with the 1 million on the bench. And
when you say 1 million on the bench, do you mean in the bank or in the players on the bench?
No, in McTominay and El Mohamedi.
So how much is McTominay? 5.0?
Yeah.
I would downgrade him to 4.5.
I absolutely agree. I would keep that money aside. I don't think having him as an option is even worth it. Dendonka is a starting midfielder at 4.5, so you save yourself 0.5 straight away there. I think El Mohammadi is a good choice, though.
Yeah, with McTominay, I just put in because I thought if he starts for United at the start of the season, then he might get a price rise, and I don't know, maybe it's worth it.
Brilliant. Bill Reese, as I've been asking the people that have been coming on live that I don't recognise the name or anything, how did you find out about the Elite FPL podcast?
Just a few weeks ago on YouTube, I was searching for FPL tips, and I found you.
That is amazing. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, hopefully we'll get you on the show another time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, mate.
Thanks. Cheers.
No, thank you. You've spent a long time in the waiting room. We thought we'd get you on because that would be horrible not to get you on. Thank you very much, Burr Reese.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Boa.
That's awesome. That's absolutely fantastic. That's all the way from Germany as well. I mean, I know it's not quite Brett Mollison's distance, but still, I think that's absolutely crazy. Guys,
just fantastic getting people from all over the world just involved on this. It's just fantastic.
We've been going on now for, like I said, 2 hours and 35 minutes. I've just been on the YouTube site, and only 24 people have liked the stream. I don't know what we're doing wrong here, but just to say thanks to me and everything. If you're watching this live right now, and you've enjoyed the stream, or just to show your support, hit that like button. As a certain big YouTuber says, it helps, so to speak. But before we go, Booner and Brett, have you got any final thoughts on anything really regarding all things fantasy football? Really, is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I've got a question for Brett. So how long have we got left now till the season starts, Steve?
It is literally
just
4
under
weeks.
A month?
Yeah, it's exactly 4 weeks today.
Brett, question to you then is, how are you sleeping at night knowing that Salah's not in your team?
I've got one of the biggest couches in the world. Look, it's tricky. I mean, I watched a lot of Liverpool last year. He doesn't exactly score every week. He goes on runs. When I had him, sometimes he went on a run, and I think I just missed out. And when I got him, and he stopped scoring. Yeah, well, obviously I'm struggling sleeping because I'm here with you guys, and it's 4 a.m. and I was having nightmares about that game, but now we'll see. Still plenty. I mean, I had it was funny. I 3 or 4 days ago, I posted in Discord a 5-2-3 with Sterling and Salah. I think Robertson became Azpilicueta, and then I think Zinchenko instead of Laporte, and Coleman instead of Digne, and I think it was Vardy, Wilson, King. I don't know. I just I mean, you probably leave me way behind. So that's fine. But as Steve would say, go with. And at the moment, my gut's telling me every time I take a Liverpool defender out to put it back in. So I can't. I can't see myself. Hey, if there was if we were allowed 4 players, then I'd probably get him. But obviously the limit's 3. So I just see a lot of value, and obviously, a goal goes in. But then the next week, if it's a clean sheet, then there's a higher chance for bonus for 1 of the 3, 2 of the 3. Sometimes, I think late last season, all 3 win bonus: Van Dijk, TA, and Robertson.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and you know this Maver Salah is a bonus point repair. So you know, even if he does score, he could easily get outscored by Van Dijk, who's just kept a clean sheet and gets 3 bonus. So fortune favours the brave, and I hope for your sake that is the case.
I actually had them. I actually had the triple up last season for a period, but
Yeah.
yeah, to end the season, I had Robertson, TAA, and Allison. I was sick of just conceding goals, and the goalkeeper was doing my head in. So yeah, I know I messed around with a couple of transfers to get Allison in, but I just wanted that comfort of knowing that the goalkeeper wasn't conceding every single match. So yeah, there were times that, I mean, they might have conceded, and yeah, so I just think that having the 3 outfield defensive though is better. That's why I've gone for Edison. When people are talking about who to have for double game week Man City, everyone was saying Edison and Laporte are the only 2 nailed. And I mean, obviously you got Aguero that pretty much starts, but so yeah, obviously I don't want to pay for that much for Aguero. I'm just not sure about how he'll go. But so yeah, I just feel like having 3 Man City and 3 Liverpool is the way I want to go, and how I've done it is how none of the players I really want to leave out. Maybe Sigurdsson, but I mean I did have I had Wilson instead of King, and I had, because I got 0.5 in the bank, I had Fabianski instead of Edison. I don't know what you think about that, Steve-o, Bruno.
Steve-o's a fan. He's got Fabianski himself.
Well, it's funny while you've been speaking on air, I've actually changed my team. I've just done you'll like this, Brett.
5 at the back.
No. I've gone with a 4 at the back. But I've gone with a 4-5-1, but with 4 heavy hitting midfielders in Salah. 4 premium players in Salah, De Bruyne, Sterling, and Kane. And the formation at the moment is it's a 4-5-1. I mean, the team is terrible, but you're looking at. I went with Pope in goal, Van Dijk, Coleman, Zinchenko, and this Stacey that's just joined for Bournemouth. I've also got Charlie Taylor as well, and then in my midfield it's David Brooks, Salah, De Bruyne. Then Donker being the 5th midfielder along with Sterling, and then Harry Kane up front. So
I like your captain choice, Steve.
Yeah. Tell us about this Stacey, actually, Boone, because obviously he come from your hometown with your local team in Luton. What do you know about him? Do you think he'll be first teamer for Bournemouth?
I definitely think he will be. It's just a case of whether he starts in that Bournemouth team or not. I've got a feeling that he could. Bournemouth at the moment have got quite a few problems at left back injury wise. And Adam Smith has shown in the past that he's versatile and can play at left back. So if Stacey does play in that right side of Bournemouth's defence, I think he'd be great value. Now, when he played for Luton last year, albeit it was in League One, he played in a traditional 4-4-2, but he got forward as if he was playing in a wing back position. And from there, he registered 4 goals and 8 assists. So, he's got the potential. And for anyone that hasn't seen the video, I will repost it in our Discord group afterwards, containing highlights of some of Stacey's goals and assists from this previous season.
That's awesome. Guys, I think I'm going to have to call it a night. There isn't going to be any... let's do some more chat or anything. I think I'm going to have to call it a night, lads.
Absolutely fine with me, mate. No problem at all. I've enjoyed this evening. Thanks again.
No, Boone,
no
seriously.
No worries, Steve. Thanks for having us on.
No. In all seriousness, Brett, an absolute pleasure. It's extremely late at night / early in the morning for you, and I cannot thank you enough for staying up with us and being basically co-host with myself and Boone. Any final
That's
thought?
been a blast.
Any final words for the Elite FPL community that are watching now?
Go with your gut.
And what about you, Brett?
Go with your gut. If your gut says don't go far at the back, then go against your gut.
Fantastic. Brett?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Everyone, just get on board Steve-O, Elite FPL, Dan and Jason. Great group of lads, and they're doing a great job for the FPL community.
Absolutely.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Steve.
Chat soon.
Good night, all.
Cheerio.
Bye.
So there we have it. Thanks to FPL Boone there and Brett Mollison joining me and being part of the co-host for tonight's show. That was absolutely fantastic. If you're in the UK, it's for me anyway, it's late at night. But from anywhere from around the world where you've joined us, I've seen places all over the place. Canada, France, Germany, people from South Africa, New Zealand. It's absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank you enough for sticking around for nearly 3 hours. I've just tweeted that out, actually. Get on Twitter, retweet it, get out there, hashtagging Elite FPL Radio, just to see if we can get it trending. But in all seriousness, that was absolutely insane. That was, I'll be honest with you, it hadn't even felt like 2 hours, 45 minutes. That's felt like 30 seconds, to be honest with you. It's been an absolute fantastic journey. And I cannot thank you enough for joining in. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for the guests that came on. The callers, you are absolutely superb. Really, really appreciate it. And hopefully you can come back on the live with us soon again. So, on to the admin now. This is when the viewers will just go. But just a quick one, really. If you are on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Elite FPL. If you want to follow us on there, show us your support, just simply follow us on there. The Discord group, if you want to join in and everything, there'll be a link somewhere. I'm sure FPL Boone or Daily Llama will be able to type it up in the chat there. But come along. You've seen how friendly the guys are and everything. We're all willing to help each other. We're all willing to talk to each other and have some fun. If you're new to the stream and you've enjoyed the content so far, give us a like. Or if you've liked what you've seen, you're only going to get more, and hit that subscribe button. And of course, that notification, because these impromptu solo podcasts can happen whenever during the day. And if you don't have the notification on, you won't know that we're going live. So I highly recommend hitting that notification button when possible. Other than that, everybody, thank you. And, well, good night. Really appreciate the support. Cheers, guys, and see you soon.